Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to match number 3 of the 2015 IPC Swimming World Championships here in Glasgow. We are literally just moments away from welcoming out the officials' big debut and
Good evening and welcome to Glasgow once again. We're here at the Tollcross International Swimming Centre for the 2015 IPC Swimming World Championships here in the UK. Just gone 6 o'clock in the evening and I'm joined tonight by Giles Long.
Good evening, Paul.
Evening, Giles. Should be another cracking night of finals that we're looking forward to tonight. And there we have, we start off with the men's 100 backstroke for the S11 class, followed by the women's equivalent of the same event. On to the 400 freestyle, the longer distances event are going now, and the men's and women's 100 breaststrokes are next up. Into the lower classes, men's 200 freestyle, S5s, and into the individual medley events for the SM8 classification. Men's 100 back in the S12 class, those for a visual impairment. And then we move on to the last finals of this session, 150 metres individual medley, an event which is particular to Paralympic swimming. And on to the men's and women's 200 freestyles for the S14 class, and the men's and women's 50 butterfly for the S6 class. Well, Giles, we've seen a great 2 days of competition. Russia and Ukraine at the top of the medal table after 2 days.
Well, yeah, and that's to be expected. The USA, of course, also doing very well. Bradley Snyder, the S11 completely blind swimmer, has made some fantastic additions to their swimming. Brazil doing very well. Daniel Diaz, will expect him to perhaps add some more to their medal standings tonight. Great Britain all the way down the bottom there in 17th.
17th, not a great show from the host nation so far. No golds, but we do have chances tonight for the host nation. The men's 100 backstroke S11, there are the finalists. Well, we start off with an S11 class. Some waving going on to the crowd as he comes out from Sergio Zayas, the first swimmer in there, lane 1 from Argentina. S11 class, Giles, those with a visual impairment, completely blind swimmers, no vision at all.
That's absolutely right. And the lady there just to the left of your screen holding the big long white stick, she's going to use that to tap the head of her swimmer as they come into the wall to make sure the swimmer knows where the end of the lane is. All these swimmers will be competing in blacked out goggles, which will be checked by the referees at the end of the race. There's Henry Herbs. Well, He's had a good meet so far, Paul. He's been very, very good, especially around the walls. Very, very good work with his taps. Viktor Smirnov, a bit heavy at this meet, I think.
He's been around for a long time, vastly experienced, Viktor Smirnov. And his younger teammate, Dmytro Zalewski, well, he will feel he has a chance against the great Viktor Smirnov. The third Ukrainian, Makowski from Poland in 6, and Mashchenko, the third Ukrainian, in 7. And David Leitis makes the final for Lithuania. And young man from Lithuania, can he challenge for the medals? May be unlikely, because Viktor Smirnov, well, as you said, Giles, he might be carrying a few extra pounds, but he did swim very well in the heats today. He was the fastest qualifier, but just 2 100ths faster than his teammate Dmytro Zalewski in lane number 5. So Zalewski has got the best record in recent years. Can he add another major title to the Paralympic title he won in 2012 and to the World Championship title he won in 2013? That's the man in lane number 5, Zalewski, and he is just edging Viktor Smirnov at the start.
Well, he's right over on the lane rope and clashing it. The fastest time in the world, actually recorded by Yang Bozun of China earlier in Seoul this year. But he's not here. This field definitely going to take advantage of that. Here comes the tap on the chest. Smirnov's over as well. Well, it was a good turn from Zalewski, but he's come up, and Smirnov better underwater, taking a bit of time out of it there, Paul. Zalewski keeps clipping the lane rope there. That's going to be costing him a lot of time. But look at this. The big man, Smirnov, not out of this yet, and is moving up on Zalewski.
Well, Zalewski trying to stay off that lane rope. His head just tilting slightly as he throws the arms back. They're coming in to the last 5 meters now. It looks like it is going to be gold to Dmytro Zalewski, and he will take it in 108.42. Another good time for Viktor Smirnov. It's 1 and 2 for Ukraine, 109.59 for Viktor Smirnov. And it's Makowski for Poland who gets in for the bronze medal position, 111.83 for the Pole. But Zalewski, well, it looked hard work down that second 50, but he stayed ahead of his countryman, and it was a new championship record for Zalewski.
Well, he came off the wall slightly skew, and that sent him into the lane rope. His head bobs around a lot. These blind swimmers haven't got that ability to see the world around them to help them position their head, and that means that his head bobs around a lot. Here you can see he whacks the lane rope, skews off it a bit, then he kind of goes back into it again. This is the turn. Now this bit they do get right. One clean strike.
There, the goggles have to be checked by the officials at the end just to ensure that they are blacked out. The women's 100 backstroke S11 final is next. We have Stephanie Duard from France in lane number 1, making sure those goggles are not going to fall off. The French swimmer. There's Martina Rabellini, 17-year-old, next to another 17-year-old, Marina Podobna from Ukraine. Mary Fisher, well, she is the world champion, Paralympic silver medalist in lane 4. Daniela Schulte in 5 may challenge the New Zealander for this title. Shikako Ono from Japan in lane number 6. She may feature in the medals. 14-year-old Elizabeth Egel from Estonia in lane 7, and Lee Huizo, already a medalist in the 2 freestyle events we've seen at these championships so far. But Mary Fisher, got to be the big favourite for this one, James.
Well, yeah, she has, but it's Daniela Schulte who's the quickest on paper coming into this meet. Don't write her off yet, Paul. She was excellent yesterday. She looks like she means business again today.
We have a contrast in styles between the 2 favourites, Mary Fisher and Daniela Schulte. Daniela Schulte, great exponent of just going down the centre of the lane, not really near the lane ropes. But Mary Fisher, she does like to hug the lane rope slightly, just getting the confidence from knowing that she is moving in the correct direction, not swaying across any of the lanes. And she uses the lane ropes to great effect.
Well, it's a real trade-off, isn't it? Do you go down the lane rope potentially increasing your resistance and drag, but knowing exactly where you are in the lane so that you're not snaking about, or do you take a risk and go down the centre of the lane, but without the ability to know exactly where you are? And we've seen, as we saw in the last race, often when these S11 swimmers, they hit the lane rope, they'll then try and correct. They often overcorrect and go straight back into the lane rope on the other side, and that'll cost time.
Well, it will. If that's the case, you're not swimming 100 metres, you're swimming a lot more than that, and that is going to cost you time, as you say, Giles. Well, there's Elizabeth Eagle, the 14-year-old. They are just waiting for the confirmed result of the previous event, we are told. So we shall wait and see when we get the official result for that, but these ladies are ready to go. A little bit frustrating when we're held at the start, Giles.
Well, absolutely. Interesting, just talking about Elizabeth Eagle there. She's, as you said, very, very young, but second fastest in the world so far this year. Set 1:25.84 in Berlin. Well, she only went 1:29 in the heat, so she's got something more in the tank.
She had a good European Championships last year at age 13, and she was in Glasgow earlier this year with the Estonian team who came here for the British international meet to swim against the other international swimmers, check out the venue here, and she performed pretty well there. Mary Fisher, well, 5 gold medals at the last World Championships in Montreal. Spoke to her on the way here to the pool. She was feeling confident. We do now have a confirmed result from the first event. We'll bring you that when we can. But we will move on to this event, the women's 100 backstroke S11.
Take your marks.
It does promise to be a head-to-head battle between Mary Fisher and Daniela Schulter. You can't count out everyone else, but Fisher and Schulter are the pre-race favourites.
Well, and as expected, Mary Fisher headed straight for that left-hand lane rope. There you can see she's probably just brushing it with her forearm as that hand whips through to the end of the stroke. Also going well on the outside of her is Podubna of the Ukraine, but I think we'll expect to see her fade. Interestingly, Schulter as well now over on the lane rope. There's the tap for Mary Fisher, later than her competitors. She's up quite quickly, again over onto the lane rope pull, but it's quite nice backstroke swimming this. Nice roll to the shoulders. Very much sticking on that backstroke on that lane rope as we come now into the final 25 metres. Difficult to see the lead change here.
Yeah, Mary Fisher is just holding that lead now, and it looks like she is going to stay ahead of Daniela Schulter, who was through in the silver medal position, with Podubna in the bronze medal position. But here comes Mary Fisher. Let's have a look at the clock. It's going to be very close to the world record. It's just outside the record time. It's a new championship record for Mary Fisher of New Zealand, and she will claim her second gold medal of these championships. It was a convincing win in the end. She wins by a second and a half from Danielle Schulter from Germany, and Marina Podubna from Ukraine gets the bronze medal. It's a repeat of the result we had at the last World Championships in Montreal 2 years ago. Fisher, Schulter and Podubna.
Well, it was a good swim from Podubna to bring the bronze. Here's the start, lane 4, Mary Fisher. And there you can see, using the lane rope effectively as a guide. She'll be just brushing that with the forearm of her right arm. There we go. And they're using the tap on the side there, doesn't actually get it right in the end, clatters into the wall. Fortunately, she had a big enough lead that it didn't actually mean any difference to the medal standings for Mary Fisher.
She won't be aware that she's won until these goggles are checked. Her tapper is not allowed to tell her. These goggles look okay, and she will know now. The result of the men's 100 backstroke S11 is confirmed. Dmytro Zalewski, the championship record, wins gold. Smirnov silver, Makowski the bronze. The men's 400 freestyle S7. There are the finalists. There's Alfonso Dominguez from Spain in lane 1. What about this young man, Carlos Serrano Zarate, gold medal last night in the breaststroke. Cabinet Saya, the European bronze medalist. Andrei Gladkov, he looked really strong today, but just cruised the heat, as did this man, Andres Skarbjornstad. Regui from Argentina, can he get Argentina's first medal of these championships? Jos Bertran from Spain, the second Spaniard, he goes in lane 7. And Hannah Schurman completes the lineup in lane 8 for the Germany team. But Gladkov and Bjornstad, they just cruised alongside each other. Very comfortable qualification for those two. Expect them to go a lot faster tonight.
Well, Gladkov went through the heats in 5:02, but earlier in Russia this year he's been 4:50. Water start in lane 5. Mixed starts are very much on the cards in this class.
Take your marks.
Well, lane 4, you can see that clearly a dive start is an advantage if you can use it. Gladkov takes out an early lead. Also going well, nearest to us is Sherman of Germany.
Gladkov has gone out to a very early lead there, very substantial lead in the heats this morning. He swam over the 5-minute mark, 5:02.88 in fact, just easing into the finish ahead of Bjornstad. He is capable of going under the 4:40 mark. He was a silver medalist to Great Britain's Joseph Craig at the last World Championships in Montreal. They had a titanic struggle there, both swimming 4:39, and there was only a very small margin separating the two, just 5/100ths of a second separating Craig and Gladkov in that titanic struggle in the World Championships in Montreal 2 years ago. But there is Gladkov. He goes over the first 100 on 7.9. Pretty comfortable.
Well, Gladkov, all the power really coming from the upper body. The legs playing very little part in freestyle stroke. Freestyle very much two power units, the power unit of the arms and the power unit of the legs. They're working almost independently of one another, but the one thing that the legs do provide is balance to the arms. As the left arm goes in, the right leg kicks down, and vice versa. And Gladkov, well, he manages to just get a bit of balance from his feet. Doesn't get a great push off the wall because of his impairment, but does a pretty good job with what he's got, Paul.
Does indeed. And this 400 freestyle, perfectly suited to the ability that he has. Just a long, stretchy freestyle stroke at the front there, just balanced by the legs. Quite often in able-bodied swimming, we see distance swimmers not even use their legs until the very closing stages of a distance event. It's really kind of technique that Gladkov is employing here in this 400. He has a 4.5-second lead over Cabinet Saya in lane number 3 from Ukraine, and Andres Skarbjornstad from Norway in 3rd position. Again, looks like the 3 medalists from the Europeans are looking to be the 3 medalists in the World Championships here, and Gladkov is trying to go one better than he did in the World Championships 2 years ago.
Well, Kavnitsaya just on the edge of your shot there, doing quite a good job of staving off Bjornstad. I think Bjornstad will start to turn it on as the race comes on, but all about this man in the centre. Look at that, that's fantastic freestyle swimming, especially the right arm, which pierces through the surface of the water, very little air around it. The right arm, sorry, the left arm, which is the opposite side to which he breathes, that comes in and is a little bit clunky as it goes in, has a little bit of air around it. He's losing a bit of efficiency there, but he's got such good fitness and strength that the rest of the field really cannot live with it. 300-metre mark now. And he's over nicely. Well, Bjornstad really starting to get the better of Kavnitsaya of the Ukraine in lane 3.
Yeah, you said, Giles, the Norwegian now trying to just turn on the pressure there to secure the silver medal. But Gladkov, well, he is away and clear at the front of the field. It's not going to be near his best time, I don't think, but it doesn't matter. Andrei Gladkov, well, he's just 18 years of age, another one of these talented teenagers. We first saw him, well, back in the Paralympic Games in 2012. He was just a young lad who burst onto the scene at 15 years of age. He's grown up slightly now, he's a big unit, and he is showing his power here in the closing stages. It is great domination of this S7 400 freestyle by Andrei Gladkov of Russia. He is going to be coming home with a substantial win here, a lead of about 15 metres, and he touches in 4:46.72 to become the world champion. The silver medal will go to Andreas Bjornstad, just pulling away from Marian Kavnitsaya in the closing stages. It's bronze to the Ukrainian Kavnitsaya.
Well, that was a superb time for Andrei Gladkov. Not only pleased with the medal result, but also should be very, very pleased with the performance. I think we'll be talking about him for many, many years to come, Paul. And there we go, the field now completely home.
Here is Andrei Gladkov, 4:46.72. He has a lot more to give. We have seen him under the 4:40 mark, so just expect him to go faster and faster in the coming years. He's never really pushed. There's that style with the legs there, Giles.
Yeah, the legs just switching to counterbalance the arms. There we go, you can see the left hand as it goes in, slightly cocked, if you like, and that's not as good as it could be. But the right hand, the same side that he breathes, so he can see it. There's the finish. Finish is outstretched, as you should do. And a big smile there.
Confirmed result for the women's 100 backstroke S11. Mary Fisher of New Zealand takes the gold, ahead of Daniela Schulte and Marina Podobna. The result of the men's 400 freestyle S7, Andrei Gladkov the gold, ahead of Bjornstad from Norway and Kavnitsaya the bronze for Ukraine. Women's 400 freestyle S7. There are 6 swimmers in this final. Is Tess Routledge. I'm not sure that was Tess Routledge, that was Rebecca Dubber. This is lane 4, Annie Palian. She is the fastest time in the world this year. Behind Jacqueline Freeney from Australia, who's not here, but Courtney Jordan from the USA, Areli Halevi from Israel, and Denise Graal goes in lane 7 for Germany. Swimmer in lane 2 is Tess Routledge.
Take your marks.
Only 6 swimmers taking the start there.
well, very, very fast away in lane 2. Tess Routliffe almost, Paul, ahead of the gun. But, well, not going to be a better chance for the women in this field to become world champion with the absence of Jacqueline Franey of Australia. You touched on it briefly there, Paul. In the centre lane, though, going well. Annie Pallion in lane number 4 of Russia. Well, it's not a great turn, though, is it? It has to be said. Courtney Jordan absolutely murdered her.
Well, Annie Pallion has a lower limb disability. It looks like she is going to be employing touch turns there, swinging her body around as she comes to the turn. Of course, Courtney Jordan, cerebral palsy swimmer, disability down one side of her body, so she will have some power from her good leg, if you like, as they go over. We'll watch this turn here. See if Pallion get a little bit quicker. Looks like Jordan may well be having the edge at the turn here. Let's watch them as they go by here. Same again, Giles?
Yeah, well, if this race carries on like that, Annie Pallion just cannot afford, energy-wise, strength-wise, fitness-wise, she can't afford to lose a body length over Courtney Jordan every single time they go around the wall. It's just not going to stack up. I think actually in analysis you have to say that she actually has a better technique than Courtney Jordan. So her body position is nicer, her head tends to be much stiller, and her body and arms all kind of move in a fluid motion, roll around that, whereas Courtney Jordan much more kind of lumpy style. But here she'll make her pay again, and there we go. She takes out almost another 2 meters out of Annie Pallion.
Well, it's the writing on the wall in these early stages of this 400. Pallion is around about a second behind as they touch the wall, but Jordan with increasing that advantage as soon as they came off. Jordan, of course, already a gold medal winner at these championships, ahead of Pallion in the 100 freestyle. Looks like this result may be repeating itself, but we are only halfway through this one. Courtney Jordan goes over 2:36.63. The gap is 2.5 seconds now, and Jordan again extends it off that turn.
Well, and just out of your shot there, Rebecca Dubber of New Zealand is starting to gradually move up on Annie Pallion. Each time Annie Pallion goes round the wall, she loses about 2 meters to Courtney Jordan. She then claws back around about a meter, but all the time she's just hemorrhaging energy, and the New Zealander on the outside of her, well, she's swimming a much more even pace. We'll see if we can see them go round the wall here. And there you go. You can see Dubber is making a much better job of those turns and is reeling in Annie Pallion. I don't think Courtney Jordan's going to be caught out in front. It's good freestyle swimming from the Kiwi. You can see her hands coming over there, and keep talking about the hands piercing the surface. They're looking pretty good, and she's on terms now with Annie Pallion. If she can get a couple of good turns in, I think she will take the silver medal from Annie Pallion, unless Annie Pallion has anything left in reserve.
Well, Annie Pallion, better known as a sprinter. Maybe that's why. Oh, great turn from Dubber there. That has taken her ahead of Pallion, as you predicted, Giles. And the fight is definitely on here for the silver medal. Courtney Jordan looks away and clear here. The gap is almost 5 meters. I don't think Dubber can bridge that gap, but she's certainly going away from Annie Pallion now. Dubber has just more economy in her stroke than Annie Pallion. A higher turnover for Pallion, but she's tired now, and Dubber is stretching away from the Russian swimmer.
Well, Dubber went 5:33.72 in Auckland earlier this year. Annie Pallion 5:24, around about the same time in April in Ramasko in Russia. But Dubber, well, she really has got the better of Annie Pallion. This is Courtney Jordan, though, bringing it home into the final 25 meters. Well, and Dubber actually starting to eat a lot out of Courtney Jordan's lead now, Paul. I think she's probably left it too late, but halved it in the last 100 metres.
Well, a great performance by Rebecca Dubber, but a great performance by Courtney Jordan. Courtney Jordan is going to be the world champion again. 5:22.50. A great swim again from the American. She had the race under control right from the start. Rebecca Dubber, it is for the silver medal. She is going to be delighted with that one. And Pallion, it is for the bronze medal position. But Dubber was closing, but Courtney Jordan had it under control with that early lead.
Well, all smiles from Courtney Jordan, but Rebecca Dubber is absolutely punching the air, because that is a whopping personal best time for her. 5:33, dropped it to 5:25. Poor old Annie Pallion, well, she tried to take it to the American, but in the end, those turns just were not good enough. Well, big smiles from Dubber, the Kiwi. A very, very good performance indeed.
Smile says it all. Fantastic swimming there from Rebecca Dubber. There is Courtney Jordan, and there's the turn, that first turn. And Jordan did that to Annie Pallion every time. As Jordan had the race under control as they come into the finish there. You see Dubber, well, if another 100 metres was there, it could have been Dubber's race there, but Jordan, she'll feel good about that one. Courtney Jordan is the world champion for the USA. Great swim for Rebecca Dubber in silver, and Annie Pallion the bronze. The men's 100 breaststroke in the SB9 class is the next final. Gert Johannes van Heerden, the first of two South Africans in this final. Lin Furon, Chinese swimmer, Paralympic medalist in lane number 2. The world record holder, Pavel Potatsev. Kevin Paul, he has looked great this week. He'll be the favourite. Bukenko from Russia, the 16-year-old in 5. Rick Pendleton, the experienced Australian in 6. Dmitry Grigorev, 4 golds in the European Championships last year. And the 17-year-old Canadian, James LaRue, in the outside lane in lane number 8. That was your 8th finalist, Kevin Paul. Giles, he is going to be difficult to beat. Looked great in the individual medley on the breaststroke leg. Looked great in the heats this morning. The South African Kevin Paul.
Well, all the way together, and Kevin Paul, as you say, looks in wonderful shape. Was great through the heats, and already here starting to take control of this. Probably a battle for silver, certainly on paper, between Poltasev and Pugenko. Kevin Paul there in the centre of your screen. Hands coming together in this SB9 class. Very minimal disabilities, slightly upsetting the overall balance of power in breaststroke. The power really swapping between the arm pull and the leg kick. Going well in lane number 7, Grigorev of Russia. But you've got to say, Paul, Poltasev doing well to go with Kevin Paul here and putting him under a bit of pressure here as they come now into the final 15 metres.
Well, Kevin Paul now just stretching for the end here. Poltasev, the world record holder, trying to get back on level terms with the South African, but it has gone to Kevin Paul. Look at the clock, it's very close to the world record, but it's 1:04.50 for Kevin Paul. It's gold to South Africa. He's delighted with that. He holds off the world record holder, Poltasev, who takes the silver. And Rick Pendleton, I think, comes in very quickly for the bronze medal position. A great finish by Rick Pendleton, 6th at the turn, but the bronze medal position at the end.
Well, Pendleton, he's been quicker this year. It's been 68. Went that in Sydney. Would have hoped to have gone quicker, but here's the champion, Kevin Paul. There's the start. All very, very quick off the start. You can see that all of these swimmers, very, very minimal impairments. Her hands coming together nicely, and a big stretch out for the finish. And a huge celebration, almost impossible to keep him in shot.
He did look in good shape, Kevin Paul. Kevin Paul takes the world title in a championship record. Silver to Russia, bronze to Australia. The women's 100 breaststroke in the SB9 class. Daniela Jimenez from Argentina goes in lane 1. Madeline Scott back in the pool where she won silver medal at the Commonwealth Games. 14-year-old Lisa Kruger from the Netherlands. Right next to another 14-year-old from the Netherlands, Chantal Zedeveld, the fastest qualifier. She is ahead of the great Sophie Pascoe, the reigning world champion from New Zealand. Zhang Meng from China in 6. Nina Ryabova from Russia in lane number 7. What can she do? European medalist there. And Sarah Girard from Canada in the outside lane. Well, real battle here in the centre, I think, Giles. 14-year-old Chantal Zedeveld against the more experienced great champion Sophie Pascoe.
Yeah, well, there's Sophie Pascoe. Zedeveld, actually the fastest in the world this year. As they settle for the start.
Take your marks.
Well, Pascoe is absolutely left in the blocks there. She's done well to recover a lot of the damage underwater, but she really can't afford to give that advantage to Zedeveld. Britain's Harriet Lee missing from this race, didn't hit the qualifying standard, but an early lead here for Zedeveld. The young lady from Holland, very, very good breaststroke swimming this. The hands come together, flip over backwards to dive forward, minimise the drag, and allow the leg kick to push her forward into the glide. It's a good spin round from Zedeveld, but better turn was Zhang Meng, who did lots to recover, but very, very tight for silver, Paul.
It is very tight. It looks like a young 14-year-old Chantal Zedeveld has got this race under control at the moment, but Sophie Pascoe trying to come back on level terms now. The New Zealander really picking up the pace now. Also coming back, Lisa Kruger from the Netherlands, but Chantal Zedeveld is being chased by them all. Zhang Meng also coming through strongly, but Chantal Zedeveld is coming in. We'll keep an eye on the long-standing world record. It has slipped by, but never mind, because Chantal Zedeveld is the world champion in 1:17.96. Gold to the Netherlands, and the young 14-year-old is the world champion and immediately breaks into tears.
Well, Sophie Pascoe there with a nod of congratulations, but I don't think she could quite believe she's finished with the bronze. Zhang Meng with an Asian record to take the silver in 1:18.81. But there, look at that. You can see how much it means to her to become world champion.
Great time too, 1:17.96 when the pressure was on there. Zedeveld, she got a great advantage off the start then.
Right from the start, and you can just see from that underwater shot how much ground Sophie Pascoe had given to her. Well, there's the finish. She hasn't got a hand. In breaststroke, you have to be symmetrical, and in Paralympic swimming, you have to touch the wall as if showing intent.
Chantal Zedeveld is the world champion from the Netherlands. Zhang Meng the silver, Sophie Pascoe the bronze. We move to the first medal ceremony of the evening. Chance to draw breath. Giles.
They come thick and fast, don't they?
They do.
Do please tweet us, use the hashtag Glasgow 2015. If you've got any questions for us, they will come across our news desk and we will do our best to answer them.
Well, this is a medal presentation which was held over from last night in somewhat unusual circumstances there, because one of the swimmers in the final. Although he had cerebral palsy, Richard Arabi from Spain is also deaf, and on the starting blocks for the start of the races, there is a strobe light which didn't go off. So the athletes were given the opportunity to rerun the race this morning if they wanted to. If not, they could keep their time from last night. And the three medalists you see on the podium chose not to re-swim, and they sat nervously as three swimmers took their chances to try and improve their time. Didn't happen, and the medalists remained the same as they were last night, and that was a great swim from David Smetany.
It was. All the medalists collect Tolly, a Highland Coup.
Highland Coup. We've been tweeted that Kaylee Hagel, one of the Scottish swimmers, said it's not Highland Cow, it's a Highland Coup. So I'm going with that.
Very much so. We are, of course, in Glasgow, home of shipbuilding and Scottish industry, now very, very vibrant art scene. I was up at the art school earlier today.
Culture.
Culture and sport. What more could you want? Well, this man was sensational in this race, wasn't he?
Mustafayev was just a real power merchant. Not quite the technician that we've seen in some of the events, but he just used his power to great effect there in that 50 metres freestyle. Retains the world title that he won in Montreal, and he will be delighted to listen to the national anthem of Russia.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for your medalist.
It must be hard to see your race rerun. David Smetany especially, he was a man in most danger of losing a medal from this one, and he worked so hard for it. Fantastic swimming from David Smetany.
Yeah, well, he's been around a long time. Paralympic gold medalist in his own right, back in Athens,
Athens, I think, and Beijing.
And Beijing.
He's 40 years of age now, but I'm sure he'd love to continue on until Rio 2016. Yeah. Proud gold medalist there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now bring you the victory ceremony.
Next ceremony up is the men's 100 backstroke S11. There's the Ukrainian duo in the first two positions. And Kowski from Poland in the bronze medal position. These are the S11 classes, of course. Swimmers who are totally blind.
Representing Poland, Wojciech
Kowski comes forward to receive his medal. I think that may well be one of the first international medals he has had in this event. He was a bronze medalist last year at the European Championships in the 100 freestyle, but he's on the world stage now. That young man from Poland, his first major medal in the global championships.
It was a good swim for Mikowski. Fourth fastest in the world this year, but managed to step that up to get in the medals. Well, this man, Smirnov, has been around for a long time. Gold medalist in Athens in 2004, then bronze in Beijing and bronze in London. That's the silver medal here, being awarded by Jane Blaine.
5 gold medals that he won in the Athens game in 2004, and it was every time he came into the water, even though he couldn't see the opposition, I remember him swimming there, he won the gold medals by the smallest of margin. It just seemed to have the golden touch in Athens, and sometimes that happens.
Yeah, well, I have to say he was in slightly better shape then, and well, this man took full advantage of that. Zalewski of the Ukraine. And warm congratulations from the head of IPC swimming there, Jane Blaine.
It's a championship record for Zalewski, 108.42. Half a second faster than he went to win the title in 2013. The swimmers all huddled together in the centre for the middle shot. Smirnoff lost his tolly there.
Heaven forbid.
I think we'll need to try and get a mascot for ourselves, Giles.
Put it on top of the mic box.
Yeah, for any volunteers, anyone could find us some. Remember, send those tweets in. Giles is keeping an eye on the Twitter feed. Surely there must be something from the Netherlands after that performance.
There's lots from the Netherlands, but it's all in Dutch.
Oh, not even from Chantal Bonacker.
We haven't heard from Chantal, unfortunately, yet, but I'm sure she'll be on in the mix with lots of people. Lots of tweets coming in from Spain, from Holland, from Australia, from New Zealand.
New Zealand will be watching this one. Another gold medal for Mary Fisher, but good swim there from Marina Podobna. 17 years of age, Podobna. She was the youngest Ukrainian swimmer at Paralympic Games. Continuing good run of form that she has in this event. Time in the final for Podobna, 125.18.
Winner of the silver medal, representing Germany, Daniela Schulte.
Daniela Schulte from Germany. Been on the German team for many years now. First went to the Paralympic Games back in 1996. Also went to Sydney, missed out on Athens, but was back for Beijing and London.
Yeah, very much been a real ambassador for the German team.
The winner of the gold medal and world champion
But
representing New Zealand,
the lady from New Zealand, Mary Fisher, will be going home with the gold medal. What a fantastic championship she's been having.
Mary Fisher, I was on the bus with Mary Fisher on her way here this afternoon. Had a quick word with her on the journey. She was looking forward to tonight. She was looking forward to claiming her second gold of the championship. She was very hopeful and she has produced the goods. Well done, Mary Fisher, New Zealand.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause to your medal winners and thank you to our medal presentation bar.
Oh, fantastic stuff from Mary Fisher, Daniela Schulte and Marina Padovna. Great skill shown by these S11 swimmers. Absolutely no vision at all.
Well, and guts as well.
Absolutely
if you said someone
superb.
walk across the room with your eyes closed, they probably wouldn't make it past 3 steps. These ladies are being asked to swim flat out down a swimming pool towards a brick wall.
Men's 100 backstroke S13 final. There are the finalists. Maxim Oshkovich from Belarus, first of the Belarus swimmers here in this final. Antti Latika from Finland in lane number 2. Hope for a medal. Sean Russo, can he get on the medal podium again at a World Championships? Can he challenge this man, Ihar Boki from Belarus? And can Kirill Pankov win the first ever World Championship medal for Uzbekistan? Nicholas Guy Turbide from Canada in 6, and Yaroslav Densenko in 7, medalist yesterday in the 200 metres individual medley. Now, this is the S13 classification. And can anyone challenge Ihar Boki, Giles? It looks unlikely given the entry times posted.
Well, swimmers in this class typically can see at a maximum depth of about 5 metres in front of them, but have quite a narrow field of view. Only a sort of fully sighted person would have a field of view of 180 degrees. These swimmers will have somewhere at a maximum will have 40 degrees field of view. Now, what that means in terms of swimming backstroke is that the flags there that we can see being adjusted, they let backstrokers know when they're 5 metres away from the end. They then count the strokes and turn. And these swimmers, those flags are going to come into their vision much later than they would for someone who was fully sighted.
Using those backstroke start devices, the new devices that have just come into play this year, giving the swimmers much better grip on the wall. Oh, there is a problem at the start here. Swimmers being told to relax. It is those starting devices that's causing a problem here. The judge is just adjusting the side of that, making sure both sides are level and locked into place. And we will be underway with this final, the 100 backstroke in the S13 class.
Well, Boki was second to none. Great arching backstroke, but also going well in lane 7. Denisenko of the Ukraine, but Boki already taking out a lead on him. Has a real kind of slicing backstroke style. Hands go in, little finger first. Very, very solid indeed. There, he's gone under the flags. He gets the turn right, as does Denisenko. But Boki's underwater section is absolutely superb. Denisenko also good. Going well also the other side of the pool in the yellow hat. Sean Russo of Australia. This is Boki now coming into the final 15 metres, Paul.
It is a superb display, as always. We have come to expect this from Ihar Boki. It is Ihar Boki, the world record holder. It's Boki against the clock. It's going to be a new world record. It is a new world record. 56.74 for Ihar Boki of Belarus. He betters his own mark by 0.2 of a second. It is silver to Denisenko from Ukraine. It's bronze to Sean Russo of Australia. And Kirill Pankov misses out on the medals by 3/100ths of a second for the Uzbekistan team. But what a display from Ihar Boki of Belarus.
Well, it really was a lesson in how to swim a 100 metres backstroke. The fact that you could see his feet flip out there on the start meant that he was completely clear of the water. A very difficult way of starting indeed. You can see there the hands really kind of cut into the water. There's no placement, and he possibly could have rolled into the finish a bit more and even cut that world record down by some more.
Ihar Boki is the champion in a new world record time. It's silver to Denisenko from Ukraine and bronze to Russo from Australia. The women's 100 backstroke final. Anna Krivshina from Russia goes in the fast lane in lane number 4. Tegan van Roosmalen from Australia in lane 1. Support from the Australian team just behind her. Kasumoto from Japan in 2. Sterre Veerman, can she continue the good run for the Dutch team in lane 3? The 15-year-old Anna Krivshina, the world record holder, in 4. She will be pushed by Anna Stetsenko from Ukraine in lane number 5. Colleen Young was the silver medalist at the last World Championships. She goes in lane 6. Sanne Hoffman, another young Netherlands swimmer, in lane 7. And Karina Petrakovachova from Slovakia goes in lane number 8. This should be a great race, should be a great battle between Stetsenko, you've just seen there, and the world record holder Anna Krivshina. The centre lanes are likely to be where the action is, and a great start from Anna Krivshina.
Very, very high start from Krivshina. Nothing to separate Krivshina and Stetsenko on paper coming into this meet. But already Krivshina, who went through the heats quicker in 1:07.53, is taking this race out. She's just under the flags now. She's been counting her strokes, rolls over, possibly a little bit early, but catches the wall well. And has got a good streamline position. She's taken even more distance out of Stetsenko, who is doing well to hold on to the silver medal. It's a battle for bronze, but it looks at the moment to be Colleen Young of the USA in lane number 6, Paul.
But it is Krivshina now, stretching away. We thought this would be a close contest, but Krivshina has absolutely blitzed this second 50 and going away from Stetsenko now. Just Stetsenko beginning to come back, but it's surely going to be well inside the world record. Oh, she just ties up at the end, but it's a gold medal performance from Krivshina. Stetsenko in second position and Colleen Young in third place. But what a great swim. Anna Krivshina, she went out fast and she came back hard and won the gold medal from Anna Stetsenko. The challenge from Stetsenko didn't really materialise until the very closing stages, and Colleen Young, she will be happy with the bronze for USA.
Well, Well, here's the winner. Stetsenko obviously disappointed. She actually ended up going slower than her heat time this morning. You just cannot do that at this level. Here's the finish. Well, she could have reached more for that. Possibly it would have dipped under the world record mark, but it's all about the medals.
Kushina is the gold medalist from Russia. Stetsenko the silver, and Colleen Young the bronze medalist for USA. We have had some response to your Dutch tweeting comment, Giles.
We certainly have indeed. Paralympic sport in the Netherlands. Sorry, we're all tweeting in Dutch. Quick translation. Chantal did amazing. European and world champion at 14. I think that says it all.
Can't argue with that.
You can't.
Medalists are out for the 400 freestyle for the men's S7 classification. Avnitsaya from Ukraine. Again, the bronze medalist. This is a repeat of the European Championships last year. We saw emergence of the likes of Bjornstad from Norway, Avnitsaya from Ukraine. I will be pleased with that bronze medal performance. He did lie in the silver medal position for much of that race, but Anders Skar Bjornstad did overtake him in the second half, and in the end was comfortable in the silver medal position. Norwegian repeats the performance that he had in the Europeans last year. He seems quite satisfied with his afternoon's work. Andrei Gladkov, though, he was always going to be tough to beat. Very powerful 400 freestyle swimming from Andrei Gladkov. Led from the very early stages. Was never really challenged as he progressed through that race. I think if he is going to challenge the world record in the future, he will need to be pushed along to that like he was when the record was set by Joseph Craig 2 years ago. But Gladkov is the champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for your medal.
Andrei Gladkov in the centre there, taking the applause there. Great camaraderie between these three. Sure they will all be aiming to go to Rio next year to renew that rivalry.
Well, tweets coming in. Marga Zederveld, Chantal Zederveld's mum, very, very proud mum indeed. That, of course, forwarded by who else? Chantal.
It's good. Normal service has been resumed.
Normal service has been resumed. Sorry for the break in transmission, folks. Lots of other tweets coming in. Looking forward to Ollie Hines' race later on. He's swimming for Great Britain in the men's 200 individual medley, SM8. The medal of the 400 metres freestyle.
Representing the Russian Federation, IPC.
Palyan, she did look technically very good in the swim. It was really the turns that let her down.
The nuts and bolts of the race just not quite there, are they yet? Been around for a while.
Palyan will have the 50 freestyle to look forward to later in the week. But what about this young lady, Giles?
Well,
swim.
Well, I have to say, this is one of the most impressive improvements of the night. Massive personal best time for Rebecca Dubber. I think somewhere in the region of 8 seconds improvement, which in swimming terms is enormous.
New Zealanders were telling me today they've got a relay team which they're all looking forward to immensely later in the week. But the USA will be strong, and I'm sure this young lady will feature in their relay team too. The world champion in 400 freestyle, it's Courtney Jordan, following up the title that she won in the 100 freestyle. Courtney Jordan loving it on the top of that medal podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, please show your respect for the national anthem of the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for all the medal winners, and thank you to our
USA team embracing that anthem. 3 very happy medalists there, lovely smiles there. Courtney Jordan, the champion, Rebecca Dubber, great improvement. And Palyan on the medal podium again. On to the next event. The men's 200 meters freestyle S5. Well, this is the one the crowd have been waiting for. James Scully goes in lane 1 for Ireland, a medalist at the last European and at the last World Championships. He's in the outside lane though, next to the experienced Sebastian Rodriguez of Spain. Roy Perkins had a great heat this morning, looked very comfortable, but look at this man, Daniel Diaz, dipping his head into the water prior to the swim there, and the local man, Andrew Mullen, Glasgow's own. Scott Quinn in the background, just banging the stands, the athlete stand there. Theo Curin, the young 15-year-old from France, had a great heat swim too this morning. Next to him, the 36-year-old Clodoaldo Silva, gold medalist in the Brazilian relay team earlier this week. And Diego Lopez Diaz from Mexico. The Mexicans getting behind their man, but Andrew Mullen, well, he is going to have his work cut out to try to keep pace with Daniel Diaz. Daniel Diaz looked awesome in the heats this morning.
Well, there's Ellie Simmons willing Andrew Mullen on. Andrew Mullen and Daniel Diaz very, very closely matched in the type of their impairment. You can see them. Diaz already up on his block. Now, it appears to be an issue with lane 6 starting block. That's now sorted out, and I think we are on. We are lane 6, Theo Curin of France. requesting a mat to be put to enable him to grip the block more.
Take your marks.
Well, evenly matched start from Diaz and Mullen. Roy Perkins over in lane 3. Expect him to be slow off the blocks, but to come back, his strengths will come into play as the race wears on. But Daniel Diaz, very high stroke turnover that he has. What he has got is a fantastic body position. Manages to keep his hips very, very high, especially given what he has at his disposal. Very quick around the wall, and also going well was Clodoaldo Silva, also of Brazil, but Andrew Mullen of Great Britain, the local man, managed to get better of him. But already Diaz has taken out almost a 5-metre lead over the rest of the field, Paul.
Well, it looked like that in the heats, that Andrew Mullen and Daniel Diaz side by side. They looked pretty well matched in the opening stages, but Daniel Diaz just put his foot on the gas in the final 50 and stretched away from Andrew Mullen. And he's put his foot on the gas a little bit earlier this time. Daniel Diaz leads. Andrew Mullen in second position now, moving into second for the GB swimmer. Lots of support for Mullen in his hometown. Roy Perkins coming back strongly for the USA in lane number 3. He lies in third at the moment, but Daniel Diaz is going really strongly. He's swimming away from the rest of the field. We'll keep an eye on the split for Daniel Diaz, though he could be on for a world record swim here from the great Brazilian. Brazil's most successful ever Paralympian with 15 gold medals. He is bang on world record pace, Giles.
Well, it was a great third turn at the other end for Andrew Mullen. That's helped to consolidate his second place. He's currently lying in silver. Roy Perkins in third, but it's all about this man. Now you can see he starts off with such a high stroke turnover, Daniel Diaz, that he now switches into a more lolloping style of freestyle that enables him to suck in more oxygen as we come into the final closing stages of the race.
He has dominated this one from start to finish. Is it going to be a grandstand finish here with a world record swim? It's very close, it's just outside, but it's a goal for Daniel Diaz. He has a convincing victory there in 2:27.28. The home crowd are going wild here because their man, Andrew Mullen, is in for the silver medal in 2:41.35. And the USA will be happy that Roy Perkins is in the medals. And bronze for Perkins, but there was no catching the great man from Brazil, Daniel Diaz. He was ahead from the start, and right from the very early stages, there was no way that he was going to be caught.
Well, there's always a lot of smiles from Daniel Diaz, but I think there, just the look on his face, he wanted that gold record, that world record. Unbelievably, sounds crazy to say it, but Daniel Diaz's event absolutely littered with mistakes. He comes up, out the start, breathes out of that, breathes into the turn, out of the turn. But the thing is that in the swim phase of the stroke, he's just so extraordinary. There he comes over, that good leg of his immediately onto drive there. He breathes straight away out the turn. There's the finish. Manages to keep his head down for the final few metres, but he could have eked that together a bit longer. Sharing a bit of chat with Sebastian Rodriguez at the end.
Daniel Diaz takes the world title for Brazil. The local man, Andrew Mullen, the silver for Great Britain, and Roy Perkins, the bronze. There are the finalists for the women's 200 freestyle S5 classification. Mita Patis from France in 1. Alicia Giamalis been on good form this week, the American in 2. The big 3 in the centre, Teresa Perales, Sarah Louise Wrong, Aninbal Pizarro. They will be the main contenders for this medal. Can anyone else get close to them? Joanna Maria Silva swam a very good heat. Reka Kesdi making the final for the Hungarian team, and the young 16-year-old Estefany Rodrigues, second Brazilian in this final. Inbal Pizarro, 28-year-old from Israel, very good in the heat. There is Joanna Maria Silva, hoisted onto the starting blocks there. Again, a real contrast in the starts again, Giles.
Take your marks.
Well, in lane number 5 is Inbal Pizarro of Israel. Made them all wait, ducked under the water. Bit of psychological game there. We expect to see the field start to flatten out as the advantages, disadvantages of this classification start to play out. Nice freestyle swimming from Sarah Louise Rung in lane number 4. Buries her head quite low, and that helps to keep her hips up, Paul.
She looks very level here as she comes to the turn. She will employ a touch turn, as all of the leading swimmers will do. This is classification. We saw the S7 swimmers. It's unusual for the S7 swimmers to employ a touch turn, but when you get down to the S5s, it's probably the norm for swimmers with these type of disabilities. Sarah Louise Rung, really level there, keeping that body very, very flat indeed, and that's helping her go ahead of the battle for silver medal position. Inbal Pizarro and Teresa Perales very close. Sarah Louise Rung has dominated this event for the last 5 years. She won the gold in the World Championships 2010.
Well, and Sarah Louise Rung does that absolutely superbly. She just went round the wall, and what she does is, rather than try and spin and turn on the spot, she tries to actually just swim round in an arc, touching the wall as she goes past. She's not going to get any push from her legs, and that is a very, very effective way of doing it. She does it better than anyone else, I think. But coming back on her slightly in lane number 5 is Pizarro, just out of your shot there. The camera angle slightly cheating it a bit there. I think she's actually closer than you think.
Pizarro, oh, a great technician there, very steady. Inbal Pizarro, she has played second fiddle to Sarah Louise Rung for many competitions. She had a good turn as well, employing a very similar style there, but Rung was slightly better off the wall there. Coming into the final half length now, 25 metres. Sarah Louise Rung looks like she has that vital advantage. Inbal Pizarro just trying to up her stroke rate slightly, but it looks like she is going to run out of space here, because Sarah Louise Rung is coming away now to claim another gold medal in this event. She won the title in 2010. She won the title in 2013. She's the champion again. It's a triple world championship title in this event for Sarah Louise Rung, and that time of 2:53.20 gets her in ahead of Inbal Pizarro in 2:57.18, and Teresa Perales from Spain clear in third position, 3:03.59.
Well, here coming in now, lane 8, Rodrigues just finishing. Still to come in, lane number 7, Reka Kesdi of Hungary. And that completes the race. There's Sarah Louise Rung of Norway. It was a good swim for her, Paul.
It was good. It wasn't a championship record, not quite as fast as she went 2 years ago in Montreal, but she will be happy to claim first title of this World Championship. She had a great World Championships 2 years ago.
Well, there's the start, and you can see absolutely no push off the wall, so has to get those hands driving as quickly as she possibly can. Very nice freestyle. Quite a lot of air going in around the thumbs. Finishing very, very square indeed, as you'd expect from swimmers in this class. They haven't got the ability to roll massively into the finish to stretch.
Sarah Louise Rung takes her third world title in this event for Norway. Inbal Pizarro, the silver. Teresa Perales, the bronze. Here are the medalists for the men's SB9 100 metres breaststroke. And for the first time, we have a South African at the top of the medal podium.
Well, keep your tweets coming in. Hashtag Glasgow 2015. Lots of celebration for Andrew Mullen's silver medal from teammate Tom Hamer, from Britain's Olympic swimmer Robbie Rennick, amongst many, many more. Oh.
Rick Pendleton there. You'll be pleased with that one. Experienced man. He was the champion in 200 IM back in 2008. He's coming back into the Australian team. Lead up to Rio, and a great team spirit they have, the Aussies.
They do, and what a fantastic competition they're having here, Paul. They really have unearthed some fantastic new talent.
There's Pavel Poltadzev, silver medal this time. He has had a great rivalry with Kevin Paul over the years. He is still the world record holder. Set that world record when he won the Paralympic title in London in 2012. But for the last couple of major championships, he's been not on the top spot, because that has belonged to the man from South Africa, Kevin Paul, Paralympic champion back in 2008 in this event. Second to Poltadzev in London in 2012. And he retains the world title that he won 2 years ago in Montreal. Kevin Paul, he did look good in all these races leading up to this final.
He looked like he was going 1,000 miles an hour before the race had even started. He looked in fantastic shape. He really, really did. Yeah, big smile. Very well deserved world champion, Kevin Paul.
First time we've had that anthem here in Glasgow in 2015. There's Kevin Paul. That number keeps falling off, but we know he's number one. Any tweets from South Africa, Giles?
No. Twitter filled with looking forward to the next race. Lots and lots of encouragement for Great Britain's Oliver Hind.
Well, the host nation, not yet the winner of a gold medal here in Glasgow. Oliver Hind, big hope for gold for the GB team. And here is the presentation that the Dutch contingent will be looking forward to. Sophie Pascoe again on the medal podium. Good swim, Sophie Pascoe. Under the 120 mark, 119.74. Not as fast as she has been. Swam here last year, of course, won the Commonwealth title in this event and also in the 200 metres individual medley.
Representing the People's Republic of China, Zhang Meng.
Zhang Meng from China, an Asian record, 118.81. In second position, the silver medal position. Chinese swimmers still picking up medals, the big medals at the internationals. What about this young lady from the Netherlands? Chantal Zierveld, the European champion, the European record holder, is now the world champion. Well, what a swim it was. Been receiving loads of tweets for this young lady, just 14 years of age. Burst onto the scene last year at our home European Championships in Eindhoven. She is superb. Chantal Zierveld, the world champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, please show your respect for the national anthem of the Netherlands.
Well, a massive, massive smile there as they come together for the victory photo. Chantal Zierveld, Zhang Meng and Sophie Pascoe. Pascoe saw herself as being gold medal potential in this race, didn't come off this time.
Finalists for the men's 200 metres individual medley SM8 class. Well, this is the one that the GB team have been looking forward to today. Andre Guillain, what a swim he had in the butterfly a couple of days ago. Song Mei Dong may also feature in the early stages too. Jessie Angels, silver medalist from the Commonwealth Games last year, and Oliver Hind, the gold medalist from those games right here in Glasgow, the reigning world, European, Paralympic champion. Robert Griswold, he went out fast, the youngster from the USA this morning. And Konstantin Lysenkov was very good in the opening stages, but faded slightly as they went into the second half of this race.
Or ease back. I think he was taking it easy.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm sure he will go faster tonight. Mortensen in lane 7. Charles Rousseau made the final too in lane number 8 for France.
Well, Rousseau very much a butterfly man. Expect him to go out very quickly indeed.
We're about to find out who was holding back. Who was putting everything into their swim. Oliver Hind was the fastest qualifier. Things are likely to change around a little bit as we progress through this 200 individual medley. A lot of strong butterflyers up front there. but when they get to the end of this lane, they will be going on to the backstroke, and that is the domain of Lysenkov and Oliver Hind.
Well, Oliver Hind, as expected, slightly slower out of the blocks. His impairment is a form of muscular dystrophy. It means that his muscles struggle to pull all of the energy out of his bloodstream that they need, which means he tends to be better at the slower burn, longer events. He looks very good here in the centre of the pool. The blue hat now of Oliver Hind moving up in lane 4. Head very, very still indeed. Robert Griswold of the USA going well. Also a bit more up and down in style. And over on the far side of the pool, Song Maodang of China, who looks to be fading now. Can Oliver Hind make the rest of the field pay on the breaststroke?
Well, Oliver Hind is exactly where he wanted to be, and that was level with Robert Griswold. In fact, he's got a 1/100th of a second advantage now. This is where we would expect Oliver Hind to increase the lead over the American Robert Griswold. Hind in the centre lane is stretching away. Lysenkov trying to come back into second position. Griswold in between those two is falling back now. Has a quick glance, I think, over to Lysenkov, but Oliver Hind is pulling away on this breaststroke leg.
Well, Oliver Hind had a half look, didn't he, just to check that he was capitalising on the breaststroke as he needed to. Coming now into the turn, onto the freestyle. It's a good touch, good rotation from Oliver Hind, and up again very, very quickly, as we'd expect to see. And the crowd are starting to light up here for Oliver Hind. They are sensing that a first British gold medal could well be on the cards, and well, there has been a serious drought of gold medals at this World Championship so far. Paul, into the final 15 comes Oliver Hind.
And no one can touch Oliver Hind now. He's coming home to win Great Britain's first gold medal of these 2015 World Championships. It's gold to Great Britain, gold to Oliver Hind in 2:22.40. A new European record for Hind. Lysenkov in the silver medal position for Russia. And it's bronze to Song Maodang from China. But Oliver Hind is the champion here in Glasgow in the 200 metres individual medley.
Well, you can see how much he put into that. He hasn't even got enough energy to have a smile at the end of that race. He really was sensational, Paul. A time that's right on his best. Always wants to go quicker. Well, the Great Britain team will be breathing a sigh of relief. They are finally up and running. Gold medals, Charlotte Henshaw there, Scott Quinn, teammates cheering him on. That's his mum there with the flag with Ollie written on it. And well, having a chat at the end of the race. Here's the butterfly, the weaker of the 4 strokes for him, but it's a good technique that he has. The backstroke, of course, much better. That head lovely and still. As we saw with Ellie Cole, you could have put a glass of water on it, you're gonna spill a drop. And then the finish, well, by then it wasn't in doubt at all, but he's absolutely shattered.
Oliver Hind takes gold for Great Britain in a new European record. Konstantin Lysenkov the silver and Song Maodang the bronze. The women's 200 metres individual medley SM8. Here are the finalists. Wow, what a great job there in the SM8 class. Oliver Hind, Sabrina Szczesny in lane number 1 next to Brooke Bro from the USA. Alicia Ladikina, breaststroke specialist. Watch for her to come through on the breaststroke, but Jessica Long, well, she will be tough to beat. Lu Wei Yuan would be good in the opening stages of this one. A medalist in butterfly and backstroke. Amelie Winter from Denmark, the distance freestyle specialist. Lisa Den Braber, a medalist here in the breaststroke. And Bandula Duskova completes the lineup for the Czech Republic. She goes in lane number 8.
Well, Jessica Long really owns this event, doesn't she, Paul? No one really been able to touch her since the Athens 2004 games.
She's never really been challenged. She's always won this event and won it by a large margin. Jessica Long. She's already won 2 gold medals here at these championships, looking to make it 3rd gold, the American. Jessica Long in lane number 4.
Well, Jessica Long has no lower legs, so always that little bit slower out of the blocks, but her upper body strength is just something else. And look at her just, well, she's a great butterflyer anyway, but you can see here she's destroying the best of the rest. And a world record stands an incredible 2:36 flat, set in Bismarck, North Dakota in the USA in 2012. And up very, very quickly, as you'd expect to see. A backstroker with full legs would stay under the water and make the maximum use of the 15 meters. Those with one arm not having the streamlined position above their head, so they're also wanting to pop up quickly. But Vladikina closer to Jessica Long than perhaps we'd have expected to see at this stage, Paul.
She is holding on to the coattails of Jessica Long here, and that is pretty good swimming from Vladikina. We saw she was in good shape in the breaststroke yesterday, winning the title in the 100 breaststroke, and I would expect her probably on this breaststroke to go ahead of Jessica Long here. She is an arm amputee, and Jessica Long with no lower limbs, and Vladikina an absolutely great turn there, as you would expect. Now Vladikina, if she goes past Jessica Long, I'm sure that won't faze Jessica Long. She might not expect Vladikina to be there, but Jess Long has a much superior freestyle, so she won't be too worried to see Vladikina go past her, but it's how big the margin's going to be when they get to the end of this breaststroke.
Well, she's going to be starting to see that bright pink hat of Vladikina now in her field of view. And I can't remember the last time, Paul, that we saw Jessica Long go into the final 50 of a 200 individual medley. More than a body length down on Vladikina. But Jessica Long, she's got so much fight in her. This one could be very, very tight indeed at the finish.
Vladikina there, just with that one arm there. She's getting no propulsion at all from her small arm here. And Jessica Long coming back, fighting strongly. And I think Jessica Long may well have enough power to do it. Vladikina, her legs trying to kick now in the closing stages. She's trying everything she's got, but Jessica Long is going to retain the title. A great swim for Jessica Long of the USA. But what an effort from Vladikina from Russia, and it was very, very close indeed at the end. The bronze medalist coming in now, that's Lu Weiyuan from China. But what a battle between the top two, and Jessica Long, well, she knows she's been in a race there.
Yeah, there's a wry smile from Jessica Long, just coming in now in lane 5, 6 and 7. The outside lane still to come in, but there was a wry smile from Jessica Long there. She got frightened by Vladikina. That was a big, big drop in personal best time.
A bit of relief for Jessica Long there, definitely.
He looks across at the camera, and Vladikina thinks, well, back to fight another day, I think.
Just kind of run out of steam with the legs there, Vladikina, in that final freestyle leg. She's only got one arm, obviously, trying to keep those huge legs kicking, Vladikina, but not quite enough.
Well, here's the overhaul, and it came down to the final 4 meters, really, in the end.
Oh, great swim from Vladikina. They are good rivals, those two, but Jessica Long, she could not have expected it to be that close. Jessica Long retains her world title ahead of Alicia Vladikina of Russia and Lu Weiyuan from China with the bronze.
Well, lots and lots of great tweets coming in celebrating Oliver Hines' victory in the 200 individual medley. There's Phil Craven, president of the IPC, on your screens there. He's going to be giving out the medals. Ihar Boki in the centre there. What a sensation he has been at these World Championships.
He has been great, Ihar Boki. He has certainly been one of the stars of this championship so far. We're not even halfway through yet, Giles. More chance for more stars to emerge as we go through.
A galaxy of stars.
Sean Russo, he is chuffed to bits with that bronze medal. So often Sean Russo has been 4th position in the major events. Finally, he's nailed one. He's got a bronze medal in the 100 backstroke. It's a close run thing. He just won it by 3/100ths of a second there. Denisenko, well, man, he was in the same position last night in the 200 meters individual medley, holding on to that #2 spot. It's not quite working for him there.
A few more safety pins required, maybe. Get out onto the streets of Glasgow and see if we can locate some.
Winner of the gold medal and world champion inside world record time, representing Belarus.
Do you compete against this man, Ihar Boki? Fantastic, 56.74 for the 100 backstroke in the S13 class. A new world record time, 0.25 of a second better than the previous mark he set in the London Paralympic Games in 2012. Ihar Boki claims his 3rd gold medal of these championships.
Respect for the national anthem of Belarus. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for your medal winners.
Well done, Ihar Boki, superb athlete. Denisenko, silver. He walked off without Sean Russo. He doesn't want to leave that podium. Taking him a long time to throw off the collection of 4th positions that he's achieved in the major championships, but bronze medal for the Australian this time.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now bring you the victory ceremony for the women's 100 metres backstroke S13 final.
Well, lots and lots of tweets about Jessica Long versus Vladikina. Lots and lots of people enjoying the racing here at the IPC Swimming World Championships in Glasgow.
Colleen Young from USA. Again, taking a medal here in the 100 backstroke. 1:12.88 was the time for the American.
The winner of the silver medal, representing Ukraine, Anna Stetsenko.
Stetsenko thought she may challenge Anna Krivshina for the gold medal. That challenge didn't quite materialise. Stetsenko, another medal here. She's already got a silver in the 50 freestyle. bronze in the 200 medley.
Winner of the gold medal.
It's got big events to come later in the week.
Representing the Russian Federation.
This young lady looks in sparkling form here in Glasgow. Anna Krivshina, second gold medal for her. She already won the 50 freestyle. She followed that up with the 100 backstroke, and I really thought that she was going under her own world record. In the end, she was just a few tenths outside.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you show your respect for the national anthem of the Russian Federation? Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for your medal winners, and a thank you to our medal presentation party.
Well done, Anna Krivshina. The two Annas at the top of the medal podium again, as they were in the 50 freestyle. The men's 100 backstroke for the S12 class. Here are the finalists. Coming right through that tunnel, Giles. Speaking to Charlotte Henshaw this morning, she said it's quite an effect coming out of that dark tunnel into the arena here.
Well, and especially for these S12 swimmers who can see, well, perhaps a metre in front of them. Very, very narrow field of view, about 20 degrees they can see at maximum. And really that change from the dark to the light, well, that can cause them some problems. Sometimes eyes take half an hour to adjust. There's the great Dimitri Saleh in lane number 2, Klippert in lane 3. He's got to be contender for a medal. But this guy, Nevelin Svetov, couldn't get my words out there, of Russia, very much in control. Tucker Dupree, all Klippert, Nevelin Svetov and Dupree all went through the heats on 1:02 point. Just 0.2 of a second separating them. Tiganidis in lane number 7. Well, he's going to have a big improvement if he's going to get amongst the medal, as is this man in lane number 8.
Tucker Dupree, he fancied his chances to be ahead of Nevelin Svetov, who has dominated this event for many years. There is Tucker Dupree. He was here last year in Glasgow, get a feel of this pool before these championships.
Take your marks.
Can he challenge Alexander Nevelin Svetov in lane number 4?
Nevelin Svetov's start was absolutely sensational. Look, he comes up and he's got a half a body length over the rest of the field. Great rolling backstroke that he has in lane 4, in those yellow lanes there. The white hat of Nevelin Svetov. The hands slicing over. They're only going to be able to see a metre in front of them, so he's got the flags. He rolls over. And can he punish the rest of the field the way he did off the start? He can, but also going very well close to us is Roman Makarov in lane number 6, and also Tiganidis in lane number 7, but it's about the middle lanes, Paul.
It is Nevelyn Svetov now coming through here, trying to stay ahead of Sergei Klippert in lane number 3. Tucker Dupre may well be out of the medals here as Tiganidis is holding on here, but Dupre coming through strongly. But Nevelyn Svetov is going to take this one. He does take it in 1:00.62. Second position, Sergei Klippert, and third position was Tucker Dupre. It was the middle lanes who took the medals, but it didn't really sort itself out until the very final stages. But Nevelyn Svetov was never headed and comes back with a gold.
Well, the nuts and bolts of Nevelyn Svetov's race are superb. The start's wonderful. That great arching back, his reaction time is like a bullet. The start arches back. Here he comes into the finish now. Tiganidis did well, I thought, made up a lot of ground, but the championship record and just that little arch there and that flick towards the wall, that would have cut down a bit of time for Nevelyn Svetov.
Alexander Nevelyn Svetov is the champion in 1:00.62. Sergei Klippert the silver and Tucker Dupre the bronze. The women's 100 backstroke in the S12 class. Here are the finalists. Ana Luis Letero goes in lane number 1. Maria Delgado Nadal. Swimmers in the S12 classification. Raquel Viel from Brazil. Raya Stukalova, what a great heat swim she had. Silver medalist at the World Championships and at the European Championships behind Hannah Russell from Great Britain, the world champion, the European champion, the world record holder, goes in lane number 5. Rina Matlo from Ukraine in lane number 6. And Annabelle Moro, Argentina, in 7. Lithuanian Yuri Nokuto from Lithuania in lane number 8.
Hannah Russell really changed her training program around a lot in the last couple of years, Paul. And you can really see the change in her physique. She looks a lot leaner, muscular. Just a lot more powerful.
She set the world record here in this pool, 106.15 in March this year.
Take your marks.
That's really high at the start.
Well, and Hannah Russell absolutely destroyed the rest of the field on the start there, but also going well. Stukalova in lane number 4. Hannah Russell, good backstroker, quickest in the world this year, but she's not going to get an easy ride from Daria Stukalova. Stukalova always been stronger between the two of them. Hannah Russell better technically, but Stukalova much more about power. It's a good turn from Hannah Russell. Stukalova also, let's see the underwater section now. Hannah Russell using that to much, much greater effect, and she's taken almost half a body length out of Stukalova. Expect to see Stukalova come back now, and Hannah Russell starting to go up and down a bit as she tires.
Well, Hannah Russell went out like an absolute train, half a second faster than the world record split. She is hanging on for grim death here. Hannah Russell in the blue cap, Daria Stukalova in the white cap. Who's it going to be? All down to the touch. It goes to Daria Stukalova in 106.75. Russell in 106.79 takes the silver for Great Britain. It's bronze to Spain. Maria Delgado Nadal, and it's gold to Russia. Daria Stukalova takes it. She can hardly believe it. She only just gained the lead in the very last stroke. Hannah Russell went out like a train, half a second faster than world record pace, and paid for it at the end.
Well, Hannah Russell absolutely brilliant off the start. We've seen these two race many, many times over the last few years, and Stukalova just a sort of naturally stronger swimmer Delgado Nadal, who from Spain, who picked up the bronze, but this there just missed the start. But this is Hannah Russell, comes up just in front of Stukalova. This really is where they start matching each other stroke for stroke, and Hannah Russell just doesn't quite finish on the full extension.
Oh, how close was it? 4/100 separating the two. Stukalova comes over. Hannah Russell doesn't quite get the finish she needed. Don't have the official result there as yet. We will bring you that as soon as we have it, but what a great battle between these two. They both came onto the international scene at the European Championships 2011. Hannah Russell distraught there.
Look at her, she's absolutely gutted. Big hug from teammate Susie Rogers, chat in the ear from James Crisp.
Well, the local crowd will be disappointed with the result of Hannah Russell, but they'll be happy to see this man on the podium in the silver medal position. Ray Gordon, board member from British Swimming, in their medal presentations again tonight, along with John Lunn. Roy Perkins from the USA takes the bronze medal, and really pleased with that one. He's got his big events to come later in the week. He was one of the few men that proved that Daniel Diaz was in fact mortal, finishing ahead of him in the 50 butterfly at the last World Championships. So he is beatable, Daniel Diaz. This man has proved it, Roy Perkins. Andrew Mullen, great performance from the local man. Fantastic cheer from all the Mullen fans. You know, Andrew Mullen wants to be on that gold medal position. He thought that it was beyond him, and the silver was the most that he could do in this event, because he was up against the master, Daniel Diaz of Brazil. Really impressive performance from Daniel Diaz, and at the end of the race just looked really disappointed that he didn't quite make that world record time. Looking at the splits for that, he was bang on the record time, almost exactly on the split that he needed to do, but just dipped away in that final 50 metres. Nevertheless, he's the world champion yet again, Daniel Diaz from Brazil. Brazilians loving that massive big Brazilian flag waving in the arena here. For their man, Daniel Diaz. Brazilians cheering with that anthem, the Mullen fans cheering, the Americans happy. Who can ask for more, James?
Indeed, indeed. Well, keep your questions coming on hashtag Glasgow 2015. We will try to answer them. Lots and lots and lots of tweets about Hannah Russell, and Stukalova in that very, very tight 100 backstroke, separated by just 0.04 of a second. Well, if nothing else, it sets it up for an absolute doozy for next year, doesn't it?
Oh, Hannah Russell will learn from that swim. There's no doubt about that one. Stukalova, she is very, very strong. A great competitor, Stukalova.
Representing Spain, Teresa Perales.
Teresa Perales from Spain. Well, great swim she had 2 days ago in the 50 backstroke. A surprise gold medal winner, Spaniard, and she's happy to receive her bronze medal there for the 200 freestyle. She was somebody behind the leading two. As the race progressed, we'll see Teresa Perales back for the sprints later at these championships. Now Pizarro will take some real heart from that performance, I think, because Sarah Louise Rung has dominated this event for so long and she's never really been challenged in a race, but Pizarro came back really strongly at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that really an area where she can work is that round the wall technique. It's not really even a turn, is it? It's almost like swimming around a corner. These swimmers haven't got the ability to push off the wall. There's Sarah Louise Rung of Norway. Well, here's the lady who gets around the wall the best. She's fantastic in the swim as well, but that circular turning action that she manages to do, well, that is where she really capitalizes in this race.
You often see that at the major championships. The coaches are all here from the other countries. They look at the techniques that other swimmers are doing. Can we do something new? Can we do something better? It's things like these major championships, vital to look at everything the swimmers are doing.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for your medal winners, and thank you to our medal presentation partner.
Well, the winners come together for their photograph. A tweet's coming in. We've had a tweet, Paul, from Dutch swimming legend Jurgen Engelsman. Very much enjoying the coverage in Holland.
A tweet from his wife yesterday. Good that they are enjoying this coverage. Engelsman, great competitor. I swam against Jurgen when I was just finishing off and he was just coming in. Well, the women's 100 backstroke S12 confirmed result. Darya Stukalova takes the gold in a championship record, just 4 100s ahead of Great Britain's Hannah Russell, with Maria Delgado Nadal with the bronze medal. So the finalists for the men's 150 metres individual medley in the SM3 class. Well, this is an event which is unique to the Paralympic programme, Charles. 150 individual medley.
Well, that's right, same as the 200 individual medley, but without the initial butterfly leg. So start on backstroke, then breaststroke, then into freestyle. With an SM3, all of these swimmers with fairly limited function. I think it's would be correct to say, Paul. Generating power in a quite uneven fashion from around their body. There is a fantastic example. Castorena of Mexico. Still got the big gun show going on one side.
Fredriksson has Vino Radets. He is a man who has dominated this event for the last few years. Mitro Vino Radets. Can he be challenged by anyone? Well, maybe he can be challenged by silver medalist at the last World Championships, Grant Patterson. Scooter, as the Aussies know him as. I wonder why that is, James.
I think it's because he uses a scooter.
Oh yeah, that could be right. That's why you're here, James. Good knowledge.
Absolutely. We'll bring you more insights like that as the World Championships wear on. But in the meantime, we'll switch back to the swimming.
Great example of different starts here. There's Grant Patterson. Vino Radets being held by his feet. Real differences there across the board.
Well, Michael DeMarco of the USA, it looked like he went early from the gun. Well, we'll wait and see what happens as the race wears on. That was just from how it looked to me as they started. But this is the centre lane, Vino Radets. A real dominating force in this class, isn't he, Paul?
Yes, indeed. He doesn't really have a weakness at any of the three strokes here in the individual medley. And he's going to be very tough to contend with. Going well in the centre lane. Next to him is Grant Patterson. Christopher Tronco also going well there. The Mexican in lane number 1, and Mikhail Fredriksson also in lane number 7. They are in the mix at the moment for the minor medals. Vino Radets, though, is away and onto the breaststroke leg already.
Well, interesting turn there from Vino Radets as he came in onto the backstroke. Normally, what you would do is you come into the wall, you effectively squash your body up into a ball to allow you to spin round before you then push off the wall. What Vino Radets does is it basically leaves his body floating and just stretches out his arm and then spins round on the spot and starts swimming back the other way. But Grant Patterson of Australia, his strength now on the breaststroke beginning to come through. Look at that, he's breathing, I think, once every 4th stroke, or switching certainly between once every 4th stroke, once every 3rd stroke. And the reason that he keeps his head down is because his body is working like a seesaw. With your head being so heavy, what it does is it has the effect of pulling your hips up, and that is enabling him to swim flatter and keep his drag coefficient down.
Grant Patterson doing a great job here as he comes into the final turn there. He has got the lead over Vino Radets now, but the Ukrainian, very strong freestyler, and Grant Patterson, a good turn, but I don't think he'll be able to live with the power of Vino Radets here.
Well, Vino Radets, long ranging stroke that he's got, minimal control in his wrists and fingers, so his hands don't tend to pierce the water as such. He tends to kind of push them, slap them through the surface of the water, but manages to do it there, particularly with his left hand there. You can see his hand almost comes in upside down, yet nevertheless, there really isn't a lot of air around those fingers. Hopefully, as we come into the finish, we might be able to see underwater, and we'll be able to see just how clean that freestyle is. But he's going to bring this race home now. It's undisputable who will be the world champion in the men's SM3 150 individual medley in a time of 3:01.28.
Radets will take it. Patterson clear in second. What a good battle for bronze here. In fact, it's 4th position, a good battle for it because it's Castorena in for the bronze medal position in lane number 6. And Kostakis is going to get in ahead of Christopher Tronko here. Kostakis from Greece in there in lane number 3. And Tronko is going to finish ahead of Mikael Fredriksson. And Michael DeMarco, the man you thought may have gone slightly early at the start, Giles. He is coming in now in lane number 2. DeMarco, the experienced USA swimmer, will be waiting for the breaststroke event to come. That's where his strength is. Michael DeMarco is coming in now. But there is the winner, Vino Radets from Ukraine, takes another gold medal at these championships. Another gold medal in this 150 individual medley.
Well, the Aussies and the Ukrainians, both teams are having fantastic championships. Vino Radets, he's never big on smiling, is he, when he wins races? Very, very serious man indeed. There's the start. It did look to me like the American Michael DeMarco went ever so slightly early, but it really didn't change the result. Here is Vino Radets overhauling the Australian and coming into the finish. There you can see that those kind of upside down entered hands.
Vino Radets takes the gold medal, not too far away from the championship record, ahead of Grant Patterson, who takes silver for Australia, and Arnulfo Castorena from Mexico, who takes the bronze. The finalists for the men's 150 metres individual medley in the SM4 class. Well, this, Giles, promises to be a great tussle between the two swimmers in the centre lanes. Gustavo Sanchez Martinez enjoying himself there at the end of the lane here. Maybe too much for him to contend with this one. Takayuki Suzuki from Japan, been training in Newcastle, and up here quite close to his training base in Glasgow. Jin Peng from China in 3. He may contend for the medals. This young man surprised us all this morning. Roman Zdanov from Russia against the man who has dominated this event since the Beijing Games in 2008, Cameron Leslie from New Zealand. The world record holder Jonas Larsson, European champion in lane number 6. Miguel Luque, breaststroke specialist, as is Michael Schumacher from the Netherlands.
Well, on paper, Cameron Leslie and Roman Zdanov are absolutely equal in times that they've turned out this year. Roman Zdanov went through the heat slightly quicker, 2:28, plays Cameron Leslie's 2:29.57.
Now, can we see world record being challenged here? Cameron Leslie had that world record set in the London Paralympic Games. He was put under real pressure by Roman Zdanov today in the heats, and the heat time was maybe a little bit faster than we might have expected for these guys to qualify in. They had a great head-to-head battle. Leslie going ahead on the backstroke, Zdanov coming back on the breaststroke and then holding the lead on the freestyle. But Cameron Leslie, world record holder from New Zealand, goes in lane 5. And he is good reaction to the start there, Cameron Leslie.
Well, Roman Zdanov was completely the opposite. He was left hanging on to the blocks when the gun went. Zdanov taken the championship record in the heats, but look at the centre lane, that black hat of New Zealand, Cameron Leslie there. SM4, quite an uneven power chain that Cameron Leslie has got, and you can see as his good arm goes through the water, he jolts forward, but then as the shorter arm spins through the water, he tends to stop, and he's got a kind of a jolty backstroke that he's managing to smooth out quite well. Pretty slow round the wall there, but he was better than Roman Zdanov. Now we're going to expect to see Zdanov come back on this breaststroke court.
Yeah, that's what happened in the heats this morning. Cameron Leslie will be anxious not to let the Russian get too far ahead of him. We will expect Zdanov now to pull alongside the New Zealander. This is shaping up as a head-to-head battle we hoped it would be. At the moment, it looks like Jonas Larsson in third position for Denmark, just holding the lead over Sanchez Martinez of Mexico out there in lane number 1. But here is Zdanov. He has just about gone past Cameron Leslie. They are side by side, stroke for stroke, as they come into the finish of this breaststroke leg. This is going to be tight, Giles.
Well, Zdanov doing a much better job of keeping those hips higher than Cameron Leslie, who's almost employing a kind of butterfly dolphin style as they go now onto the freestyle. It really is going to be a battle coming down this 50 meters. The upper body, much more balanced upper body of Roman Zdanov, those two arms coming over. You can see the right hand as it goes in is a bit clenched, which is going to make it spin slightly, but much more effective than the Kiwi's arm stroke. Has to balance out with his legs, but this is going to be Roman Zdanov, Paul.
Zdanov is heading for home now. Has Cameron Leslie got anything left? I don't think so. I think it's going to be gold to Russia. It's going to be a very good time, an excellent time in fact. It's 2:25.24. It's a new world record for Roman Zdanov from Russia, just ahead of Cameron Leslie from New Zealand in 2:26.55. And it's Jin Jipeng from China who is in for the bronze medal position. But what a sensational race from the front to a great battle, and they forced each other through to excellent times and a world record time for Roman Zdanov of Russia. Oh, Cameron Leslie will be absolutely gutted to lose that title. He has ruled this event since 2008. Yes. Jin for the bronze medal for Russia, an Asian record.
Well, here's where the business of separating the men from the boys really started, and these two took it out. Well, by this point, Roman Zdanov had finished it. He ended up finishing on the weaker of his two arms. Well, he absolutely put everything into it.
Roman Zdanov takes the title in the 150 individual medley in a new world record time of 2:25.24. Cameron Leslie the silver, Jin Jipeng the bronze. These are the finalists for the women's 150 metres individual medley in the SM4 class. That was it. Ternison from the Netherlands goes in lane number 1. Next to her, Natalia Gavrilyuk. It's a mixed classification race, this one, SM4s and SM3s. And Olga Zvederska in lane number 3. She set a new world record for the SM3 class in the heats this morning. Her Ukrainian teammate Maria Lafina goes in for the fastest qualifier, but very close to her, Aliola Trimi from Italy. And you can't discount the freestyle speed of Nelly Miranda Herrera in the closing stages of this individual medley. Verbova, she started very well, just lost a little bit of ground on the freestyle, but was pretty much in the mix in the first 100 of the heat this morning. And Carolina Hamer completes the lineup, Polish swimmer in lane number 8. Carolina Hamer entering the water from the side again. We will see a range of different starting techniques. There's Lafina, European champion, gold medalist last year in Eindhoven European Championships. So we'll start a slight favourite for that one. Ariola Trimmy may well challenge. Fina will be the favourite. There is a Mexican super fan. We always know when there's a Mexican in the race. Nelly Miranda Herrera. We hear the booming voice of the Mexican.
Take your marks.
Well, Ariola Trimmy, superb freestyle technician in lane number 5. But Lafina in the centre lane. Well, this is Trimmy here. Backstroke's not as good as the freestyle, but we're going to expect to see her come back on the freestyle, wouldn't you say, Paul? But going well in the outside lane there, Zet Tunison in lane number 1 of Netherlands. Very nice backstroke.
Again, she is swimming up a classification. It's a combined event. There is only one set of medals to be awarded here. Tunison very strong there. The S3 swimmer has gone out, and Verbova, as we thought, may well challenge for the lead in the early stages here. Tunison onto the breaststroke. You'd expect the swimmers in the middle to come back now. Lafina in 4th, Trimmy in 5th, and they should come back. Trimmy just employing that unusual breaststroke breathing technique.
Absolutely, no rule that says you have to breathe to the side. There is one that says your shoulders have to be level, or at least you have to show intent to make your shoulders level. Because she manages to breathe to the side, and what the advantage of that gives her is it means she can keep her body flatter. We've been talking a lot about being able to keep your body position flatter. It reduces your drag. Here is lane number 6. Miranda Herrera going well, but in lane number 4, it's Lafina who is in the red hat. You can see how high her ankles are there. She's not using her legs at all, but still managing to keep those feet very, very high indeed. She comes now into the final 5 meters of this breaststroke leg before turning onto the freestyle. Good turn there. Very quick round the wall indeed. And onto that freestyle. We'd expect to start to see Trimmy come back here, but I think she may have, well, she's left an incredible amount of work to do.
I'm not sure if anyone can catch Lafina now. Maybe the most likely would be Nelly Miranda Herrera. Here comes Trimmy, here comes Miranda Herrera. The white cap of the Mexican, the black cap of the Italian. They're all chasing the red cap of the Ukrainian Maria Lafina. She is holding on, but here comes Nelly Miranda Herrera. Here comes Olga Swiderska from Ukraine, making a late bid here with the blue cap. It is going to be very, very close. I think it may well go to Nelly Miranda Herrera in the white cap. She's coming up alongside Lafina. It's going to be gold to Mexico. And Nelly Miranda Herrera has taken it in 3:06.48. It is 3:07.31 for Lafina. It's bronze to Olga Swiderska. She betters the SM3 world record yet again. But what a finish for Nelly Miranda Herrera. It's a new America's record for the Mexican. It's her 2nd gold medal of these championships. She cannot believe she's just done it.
Well, I don't think we quite can as well. And poor old Maria Lafina ended up going slower in the final than she did in the heat phase. Olga Swiderska, who you said was swimming as an S3, Paul, Well, she's actually broken the world record in that class. Unfortunately, because it's a combined event, it's only going to be good enough to pick up the bronze. But it's a fantastic swim from her to take on these ladies who have more function available than she does. But this is Miranda Herrera, and here is the bit where she just in the final 5 meters, poor old Maria Lafina, well, she just ran out of steam. And she looks up at the clock. You can't believe it.
Oh, that's a great shot, isn't it? That's fantastic. Nelly Miranda Herrera wins the World Championship gold in 3:06.48. Lafina the silver, Swiderska the bronze in a new world record for her class. The medalist for the men's 200 metres individual medley SM8. This is the presentation that all the home fans have been looking forward to. First Great Britain gold medal of these championships. Song Meidong from China claims the bronze medal. 226.89.
Representing the Russian Federation, Konstantin Lysenko.
Silver medalist Konstantin Lysenko did feature in the leading pack as they progressed through that race. This is the medal, silver medal for the Russian. Looks strong in his favoured backstroke. Couldn't match power of Oliver Hind. Retains his world title here in Glasgow. It's gold to Great Britain at last. Great cheers from the GB squad. The Union flag is out.
He has to work very hard to get his hair to look like that, Paul. He's been working on that since the race finished to this medal ceremony, and it's come good just in time for the anthem.
Gold for Ollie Hines, and his teammates loved singing that anthem. Charlotte Henshaw singing it with gusto. What they say in Glasgow, Get Laldy.
She was getting it laldy big time, wasn't she?
She was.
That's my Scottish accent. Lysenko there, wave to the camera. There we go, that's how that hairstyle comes out like that.
Everyone will have a hairstyle like that soon.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now bring you the victory ceremony for the women's 200 metres individual medley SM8 final.
What a race this one was. Couldn't have expected it to be as close as it turned out. It was the result we expected, but definitely not the race we anticipated to see. It was absolutely fantastic. Lu Weiyuan from China, bronze medal winner. 252.62. Up the trolley.
Representing the Russian Federation, Vladikina.
Well, Vladikina, a resurgent force. She was European champion last year in the 100 breaststroke in Eindhoven. A little bit off the boil by our own high standards. Well, really looks set for Rio next year, doesn't she? Well, Jessica Long, still the dominating force in the 200 individual medley, SM8. She's not quite hitting those world record times, many of which are her own times, Paul. She's winning races, but really wants the improvement, knows that she needs to step up, is seeing the field around her close in, but hopefully she'll forget all about that for just this moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for your main winners and thank you to our medal presentation partner.
Here's the finalists for the men's 200 freestyle S14. I'm looking forward to this one, Giles. What a fantastic heat swim we saw. What a great contest this promises to be. Kel Kuliabin in lane 1. Paralympic champion John Margier Sverrisson in lane number 2. He may well feature Tom Hamer from Great Britain in 3. What about this man? Ilyantsev from Russia, a world record in the heat this morning. Daniel Fox, well, he was the previous champion. Chowon Song from Korea in 7, Lee and Cook in 6. Two Koreans there side by side, and Miyazaki from Japan in lane number 8. Well, Ilyantsev just went off like an absolute rocket today. We did think the likes of Sverrisson may be able just to peg him back in the closing stages, but Ilyantsev just did not tie up at all.
Well, good start, especially from Ilyantsev in lane number 4. Tom Hamer of Great Britain really just left behind there, but this one, a very, very tight race indeed, Paul. All separated by just 1.5 seconds across the field through qualifying, and by less than that on paper coming into this meet. But round first, Ilyantsev of Russia, and clearly out in front. Superb freestyle swimming. Bit lollopy on the breathing stroke, breathing every single stroke cycle. But it already looks as if the real battle is going to be for the silver and bronze.
Saw this in the heats. Ilyantsev went out really, really fast, and they just didn't get back on terms with him in the closing stages. We did expect him to tie up, it didn't happen. John Margier Sverrisson, maybe the most likely, the former world record holder in lane number 2. Thomas Hamer also coming back strongly for the GB team. Daniel Fox now probably down into 4th position, the Australian. But here comes Emiliantsev. He's got a huge lead as he comes into the last turn. Sverrisson 2 seconds behind. Hamer in 3rd position. But here comes Emiliantsev. Can anyone catch the Russian? He is starting just to fade slightly. It's becoming really painful for Emiliantsev. Here comes John Margeir Sverrisson. Emiliantsev, I think he's just about going to hold on here. The Icelander is trying to come back. It's going to be gold to Russia. Emiliantsev takes it. It's silver to Iceland. And bronze to Thomas Hamer from Great Britain. And a great swim again. Emiliantsev takes the gold for Russia in 1:56.87. But boy, that was tough.
It was. Well, he did it the hard way, didn't he? Took it out right from the very start. There's Sverrisson and Tom Hamer. That was a good swim from him, a personal best time to claim the bronze. There's the start, all away together. But underwater, Tom Hamer was up first. And the rest of the field really took a chunk out of him. Here's the finish now. And at this point, you can see he was starting to tie up. If we compared to earlier on in the race, he was much more fluid, much smoother, much more up and down. Well, and you can see he can hardly drag himself out of the pool.
Vyacheslav Emiliantsev from Russia takes the World Championship gold. John Margeir Sverrisson the silver. Thomas Hamer the bronze. Here are the finalists for the women's 200 metres freestyle in the S14 class.
Well, it's not quite as tight as the men's race, Paul, on our qualification sheet in front of us from the heat. The Shabalina in lane number 4 of Russia went through fastest in a time of 2:05.99. Jessica Jane Applegate of Great Britain, well there in lane number 1. Morales of Spain. Pernilla Lindberg of Sweden in 2. In lane 3, Corey Taylor has been going well here. A struggle against this lady, Shabalina. And also Jessica Jane Applegate of Great Britain, the Paralympic gold medalist. Van der Kolk, the bronze medalist from London. Michelle Fransen of Belgium. And Stefan Dottir of Iceland. Well, that makes up the 8. Going to be tight, this pool between Shabalina and Applegate in 4 and 5.
Shabalina
Take your mark.
very, very fast. A world record-breaking performance today in the heat, 2:05.99. Jessica Jane Applegate came back in the closing stages, but she really wasn't close enough to challenge in those closing 50 metres. Good time for Applegate. If she can be closer tonight, she may pose a challenge, but Shabalina will start as the favourite, and she's living up to that tag already. Going out very fast too is Taylor Corey. They go over the first 50. Shabalina does lead. Van der Kolk in 2nd, just 7 more hundredths behind, and Corey in 3rd with Applegate back in 4th.
Well, Shabalina quicker over shorter distances, and Applegate much more of an even-paced swimmer. But Corey Taylor in lane 3, the Australian yellow hat there, really trying to go with Shabalina. But it's starting to flatten out now for 2nd and 3rd. We'll see if Shabalina can hang on to this lead. Jessica Jane Applegate, though, not being left behind as she moves up into 2nd, that blue hat of Great Britain. Shabalina, well, she's 2 body lengths in front, Paul.
It is going to be very tough for Jessica Jane Applegate to get back on terms with Shabalina, but we know that Applegate has got a blistering finish in the last 50. She will possibly be stronger than Shabalina in this last 50, but it is a big, big gap to try to close there. The gap is about 1.7 seconds. Shabalina on her way home now. That's the 25-metre marker. Applegate not really making much of an impression. It's going to be gold again to Russia. It's going to be gold to Valeria Shabalina. Let's have a look at the clock. It's a fantastic time from the Russian. It's a new world record in 2:04.98. She has knocked 1.01 seconds off her own record that she set this morning. It's a world record and gold medal for Shabalina. Applegate the silver and Van der Kolk the bronze for the Netherlands.
Well, that was an absolutely incredible swim from Shabalina, and just how much this event has moved on in 3 years. Jessica Jane Applegate won the gold medal in London in a time of 2:12. Now she's just done an amazing swim to finish in 2:06, but the world record now stands at 2:04.98.
It was a great display from Shabalina there. She got a good start. She got off the blocks very well, as did Van der Kolk, the Netherlands swimmer. She was always in the mix for the medals, but here's Shabalina just stretching away, extending that lead as the race progressed and diving in for that finish there. And that was an excellent time from Shabalina. What a swim. 2 world records in a day for Shabalina. Applegate, disappointed with silver. Very pleased with the time she swam, though.
Absolutely good progression from heats to finals.
Valeria Shabalina wins the gold in a world record time. Jessica Jane Applegate the silver. Marlou van der Kolk the bronze. Medalists already on the podium for the 100 backstroke S12. Someone we know well, Richard Brickley, making the presentations there, Giles. Tucker Dupree, the USA. Well, he wanted gold. I had a word with Tucker the other day. He thought he could beat the great champion, Evelyn Svetov from Russia, but it's bronze for the man from USA. Sergei Clippert did a good job, didn't he? 101.28, just 8/100ths of a second ahead of Tucker Dupree.
Winner of the gold medal and world champion, representing the Russian Federation.
Alexander Evelyn Svetov, well, he has ruled this event for a number of years. Evelyn Svetov, championship record 1:62. Again, it is gold to Russia. They are having a great championships, Giles. Another gold for the Russian team.
Ladies and gentlemen, please show your respect for the national anthem, Russian Federation.
Well, there, the victory photo for the medalists of the men's backstroke, 100 meters for the S12 class.
Still got a couple more events to enjoy tonight, as well as the medal ceremonies. Keep sending your tweets in, we'll try give you a mention at IPC Swimming, hashtag Glasgow 2015.
Yeah. Tweet just come in from Born 1878. Well done, Jess. It took a world record to beat you. A glorious, glorious silver medal.
Winner of the bronze medal, representing Spain,
Steph Slater not here through injury, but cheering on her teammates via Twitter. Amazing swim, Jessica Jane. There.
Delgado Nadal taking that bronze medal for Spain. And the silver medal, I'm sure she wishes that had been different colour, Hannah Russell, but it's silver for Great Britain. 106.79, 4/100ths of a second the margin.
So tight indeed, isn't it? Couldn't click out 4/100ths of a second on a stopwatch if you tried. Daria Stukalova, big improvements that she's made from the European Championships last year in Eindhoven, from the World Championships before that in Montreal in 2013. But we are, well, what a great race this is going to be set up to be next year at the Paralympic Games in Rio, Paul.
It will be superb. Hannah Russell will have the bit between her teeth, no doubt, but this young lady, Stukalova, is such a tough competitor. Stukalova and Hannah Russell, great rivals. They made their international debuts together. They've competed against each other every year for the last 5 years now. It seems strange that Hannah Russell's been on the GP team. This is their 5th year on the team.
Yeah.
Finalists for the men's 50 metres butterfly S6.
This is a test start.
Well, here they are coming out of that 50-metre call room. A little bit different from the tunnel we see at the 100-metre end. On the side there. Again, this is the S6 classification. There's a man in lane number 1, Kaisuke Oyama from Japan. taking the acclaim of the crowd there. He's enjoying himself.
Yeah.
Zhu Qing of China. Man, that real windmill style. Sasha Kindred, his 7th World Championships here. Zheng Tao, what a good heat. Has to finish with his head. That might be an advantage. And Nelson Crispin at the closing of this 50 metres. Taliesin Glock is in good form here. Sergej Klyagin, lane number 7. And Semenenko from Ukraine, another swimmer swimming with no arms. Swimmers who have to finish with their head. Very difficult, isn't it?
Absolutely. All that drive's got to come from their legs. A real advantage at the start, but a disadvantage for obvious reasons when it comes to the finish.
Take your marks.
Well, good starts all round. Expect those using their legs. And wow, look at that in lane number 4. Zheng of China really using those legs. God, look at that kick rate. It's absolutely sensational, but also going well. Zhu Qing of China. It looks like it's going to be a Chinese 1-2 ball. It's just a question of which way round it's going to be.
It looks like it may well be Zhu Qing in lane number 2. Zheng Tao coming in with his head. It is Zheng Tao who gets it in 31.17. It is silver for Zhu Qing of China, and it's bronze for Sasha Kindred of Great Britain in 32.01. It was very close for the bronze, and it was very close for gold and silver, but it was Zheng Tao from China who takes it just by 8/100ths of a second from his teammate Zhu Qing.
Very, very tight indeed. A good swim there from Sasha Kindred. Smile on his face, he'll pick up the bronze medal. Waves to the camera with his foot.
That's excellent.
Oh, here's the start, and you can see the power that Zheng gets in lane 4, and he's just so quick underwater. He hasn't got his hands in front of him to form streamlined position. But here, touches with his head. And you've got to have some commitment there, Paul, if you're going to make that really count.
Yeah, we counted his breaths in the heats. 2 breaths for the whole lane. Zheng Tao takes the gold for China ahead of his countrymate Zhu Qing. Sasha Kindred the bronze for Great Britain. Those are the finalists for the women's 50 metres butterfly S6. Muslim Kaya from Turkey. In the outside lane, lane 1, Anastasia Diadarova. Lu Dong from China, can she follow the success of her Chinese teammates? Oksana Krul, she is going to be tough to beat. She swims without her arms. She will have them at the finish to use for the stretch. Tiffany Thomas-Kane, well, what can the young star do? What can the 13-year-old Nicole Turner from Ireland do? And here is Elena Fedota from Ukraine in 7. And Samilea Manduano from Mexico in lane number 8.
Well, there's going to be a lot of interest in Tiffany Thomas-Kane from Great Britain, because she beat Ellie Simmons in the 100 breaststroke. We're going to be looking at the 200 medley. And this obviously is a key part of that. Well, look at how well she's gone. But it is the butterfly kickers. Oksana Krul kicks with her hands outstretched in front of her. Doing very, very well, but also moving up. Lu Dong of China in the pink hat, just on the outside of her, and on the outside of Lu is Diadrova. I think it's going to be too much for Thomas-Kane.
think it is, because I think it's going to go to Oksana Krul again. The Paralympic champion is going to retain her world title, and she does it in style. 37.33 for Oksana Krul from Ukraine. She takes the gold. It's Tiffany Thomas-Kane comes through very strong for the silver. An oceanic record in 38.17. Another medal for the youngster. And Lu Dong from China in third position, 38.46. Tiffany Thomas-Kane, another medal, but she couldn't catch the champion, the world record holder, Oksana Krul from Ukraine. But Oksana Krul swam well. She must have been worried about the young Australian.
Well, here's the start, as expected for a swimmer with dwarfism. Tiffany Thomas-Kane up first, but the leg specialists in the centre really maxing out on their distance underwater. Here's the finish. And you see hands outstretched in front of her, makes it perfect when it comes to the finish.
Oksana Krul takes the world title for Ukraine, 37.33. Another medal for Tiffany Thomas-Kane, a silver this time for the Australian. Lu Dong takes the bronze for China. Well, range of medal presentations to come now to finish off this evening. First of those, it's the men's 150 metres individual medley for the SM3 classification.
Accompanied by head of technical control and officiating
Our swimmers.
Superstar.
That's almost a regal wave to the crowd there.
Very much was, wasn't it?
Arnulfo Castorena from Mexico. Mexicans, great strength in the lower classifications. We'll see him in the breaststroke events later. See Alex of Juan Reyes, who hasn't been beaten in the 50 backstroke S4 since the Sydney Paralympics in 2000. So great run of success for Juan Reyes. Mexican team very strong, as I said, in those lower classifications. Grant Patterson.
Why do they call him Scooter Ball?
I cannot imagine, Giles. I'll need an expert to say that. That's why you're here. He's did a good job, didn't he? Breaststroke was very good, wasn't it? Just couldn't hold off the powerful Vino Radets. I'll be pleased though.
Winner of the gold medal and world champion representing Ukraine, Vino Radets.
Well, big smile there from Vino Radets.
Ladies and gentlemen, please show your respect for the national anthem, Ukraine. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for your medal winners.
That's a bit nonplussed there, as he tends to do on the medal podium. Big smile any second now, though, for photographs. Thumbs up from Storena. Any final news on the Twitter feed, Giles?
Lots and lots of tweets coming in from New Zealand, talking about Rebecca Dubber and Mary Fisher. We saw them earlier in the evening. Craig Spence from Yorkshire is in absolute awe every time he sees Zheng Tao swim. He said no arms, but he can still do 50 freestyle in 30 seconds and is the world champion. He's obviously not been watching that closely because it was a butterfly race. Right, but that doesn't matter. We'll still quite happily chat around it. Steph Slater, the GB swimmer who's out with injury, has big congratulations for Sasha Kindred, who picked up that bronze medal. Great time for him. And here also picking up a bronze medal.
It's nice link there, Giles. Jin Jiping from China. Cameron Leslie, the former world record holder now, the New Zealander, twice a Paralympic champion. He's going to make it 3 times a Paralympic champion. He's going to have to beat the man right next to him on the medal podium, the new world record holder. Silver tonight for Cameron Leslie.
And world champion in a world record time,
Roman Adanov, the new world record holder, the new world champion, 2:25.24. Improvement of 0.7 of a second. The old mark held by Cameron Leslie, held from 2012, and the Russians having a very good night indeed.
They are brought a very, very big team here to Glasgow. A team of 60 swimmers. That plays the home nation's team of just 14.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for your medal.
17 years of age. Youth, certainly a feature of these championships, Giles.
Yeah, there really does seem to be a changing of the guard, if you like. A lot of established names who, I mean, we've got data in front of us going back London, Beijing, Athens, Sydney Paralympic Games, and names that appear on those sheets several times, while they're starting to be swept to the side by a whole new crop of young swimmers. This man certainly is someone we will be talking about a lot in years to come. For that, I have no doubt.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now begin
It's the women's 150 IM presentation. It's the SM4 event, and was a combined classification race, so We saw some of the SM3 swimmers swimming up against the SM4s. It was an absolutely cracking race. We've had a few tonight, real close finishes. One of these SM3 swimmers who swam up claimed a medal in the higher classification. She didn't only win that bronze medal, but she set a new world record for her class while doing it 3:08.32 for Olga Zviderska from the Ukraine. A world record in the SM3 class and a bronze medal in the SM4 event.
Well, she really is a class act, isn't she? Last year at the European Championships in Eindhoven, dominated across the board.
Fina led for, well, right up until the very end of the race, maybe a metre or so out from the finish. Oh, must be so frustrating. Beyond the silver medal position was the freestyle champion from last night, who claims the gold in the individual medley event, Nelly Miranda Herrera.
Well, it's all too much. And look at that. Well, you can see what it means to her. She swam an absolutely superbly paced race. Kisses the gold medal. And Mexico having a fantastic championships, Paul.
Another one of these swimmers in the lower numerical classes picking up the medals for Mexico. Real strong country in the low classes.
Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for your medal.
Well, that certainly wins the prize for most engaging medal ceremony. Fantastic to see all of that emotion come out after all the training that has gone into producing these performances. All of these swimmers are full-time athletes and invest so much time and effort into trying to be their best. Well, when it comes good, it really comes good.
It's not an event that Nelly Miranda Herrera would have expected to win, and it just means so much more to her to be on top of that medal podium alongside the two Ukrainians.
Well, tweets still coming in. Lots of love for Miranda Herrera.
Bringing the victory ceremony for the men's 200 metres freestyle S14 final.
Medalists for the men's 200 freestyle in the S14 class. It's a bronze medalist for another teenager, Thomas Hamer, enjoying his moment on that medal podium. Bronze medal for the young GB swimmer.
Well, he's a real character, Tom Hamer. Fantastic member of the Great Britain team. He does look in... He looks in very, very good shape, it has to be said. Paul's working very hard in the pool.
Great time for Tom Hamer, 1:58.54. He almost caught the former world record holder, Paralympic champion John Margeir Sverrisson. 1:58.06 for the Iceland swimmer. Be the first medal for Iceland at these championships. He was hoping to follow up the gold he won in London. Another gold here in Glasgow. It wasn't to be because they were all beaten by this man, Vyacheslav Emeliantsev. A world record swim in the heats this morning. Couldn't quite reproduce that in the final tonight. 0.6 of a second slower, but it was good enough for gold. It was a gutsy swim. He went out really fast and just held on, left everything in the pool to come home in the gold medal position.
Ladies and gentlemen, please show your respect for the national anthem of the Russian Federation. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for your medal winners.
Well, there, the victory photo, the men's 200 metres freestyle. It's nothing like a photographer waiting to take a photo for cue, all bits of paper pinned to the front of a tracksuit to suddenly ping off.
Seem to be causing a bit of distress to people that one. It
just
well, it helps us, I suppose. We're speechless.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now bring you the victory ceremony for the women's 200 metres freestyle S14 final.
Women's S14 200 freestyle.
Winner of the bronze medal, representing the Netherlands, Marlo van der Kolk.
Andres. We had a world record breaking performance here. Final, Marlo van der Kolk. Well, she will be delighted to be on the medal podium again. So her teammate got a gold medal a couple of days ago. Magda Toeters. Van der Kolk has been one of the stars of Netherlands swimming. They've had another good night, the Netherlands team.
They have. Well, there's been lots and lots of tweets about Marlo van der Kolk. Jessica Jane Applegate, was a good swim for her on the night. Big improvements she has made over the last 3 years. But the march of Paralympic sport, Paul, is just it's just phenomenal, isn't it? I mean, if you think that as soon as you make the mistake of thinking that you've got it cracked, well, it will turn round and bite you. Jessica Jane Applegate has improved and has very much stayed in the pack, but it is this young lady, Javelina of Russia, who wins in a new world record time of 2:04.98. Exactly 2 seconds quicker than Jessica Jane Applegate.
Javelina set that world record in heats this morning, bettered it again in the final. Great talent, Javelina, world champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for your medal.
There we go, pose with the medal for the photo. Valeria Shabalina, world champion from Russia. Well, these ladies, big wave to the camera there. These ladies still got more events to do later on in the week, so they will be going home, making sure, going back to their hotels, making sure they refuel. This race was absolutely sensational.
The winner of the bronze medal.
Oh, it's the bronze medalist from Great Britain in his 7th World Swimming Championship. He has done every single one of the IPC World Championships, stretching back to 1994. He's won a medal in all of them. He maintains that record. It's Sasha Kindred, of course, from Great Britain.
Fantastic ambassador for the sport. A real inspiration for the younger members of the Great Britain team.
Zhu Qing from China takes the silver. He's the man with that short arm there. It goes around like a windmill, really. Didn't really see that in the butterfly. We might see it in the freestyle, though. Really impressive the way the turnover he gets with his one and only short arm.
Well, on the butterfly, he's got to time it with the leg kick, isn't he? Whereas on the freestyle, he's just free to let rip.
Zheng Tao, he claimed the title, I was told by the IPC staff, of the swimmer with no arms. He is the swimmer with no arms, that is. He is known, and it was absolutely superb performance there. Butterfly kick all the way. We had a look, and it's super sad trying to find somewhere to put the mascot there. Yeah. You would have thought Super Sub would have known better.
Yeah, absolutely. Mascot should come with a clothes peg so you could clip it to the medal ribbon.
That's something for the next one.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for your medal winner.
We had a look at the swim there for Zheng Tao, swimming with no arms. I reckon he breathed only twice in that 50 metres butterfly.
Earlier on in the week when we saw Ihar Boki swim, there we go, another pinged rostrum paper, and he just he just looked at it and thought, well, I haven't got any arms, I'm not going to bother picking it up. And who could blame him? Left the job to Sasha Kindred.
S6 final.
Last medal presentation of the evening.
Winner of the bronze medal, representing the People's Republic of China, Yu
Another
Dong.
Chinese medalist, Lu Dong. Very tight battle there for silver and bronze medals and 4th position. Prasad got that mascot right this time.
Yeah, sussed out the technique. Of course, she now has to stand there with it like that, whether she likes it or not. Well, Tiffany Thomas-Kane of Australia, there are lots and lots of eyes watching the performance of this young lady, because if she can string together all of the different strokes, she's already beaten Ellie Simmonds. If she can put together, if she's got as good a butterfly as she has, she can match that with a breaststroke, well, that starts to add up to something quite special for a 200 individual medley, and that, of course, is Ellie Simmonds' other great event. Here's the winner, Oksana Krul of the Ukraine. Uses that arms out in front butterfly kick to superb effect. Different technique there from Sue this time.
Yeah, she got an arm to tuck that mascot in beside, even though she doesn't use it. Oksana Krul.
Ladies and gentlemen, please show your respect for the national anthem of Ukraine. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for your medal winners, and thank you to our medal presentation partner.
It's the final medal ceremony of this evening. Oksana Krul wins another title in the 50 metres butterfly. Bit of a chat with Tiffany Thomas-Kane. Sure, it won't be the last time we see her on the medal podium. And here we have the medal standings after this evening's events. As we thought, Giles, the Russian Federation topping the medal table. 7 gold medals tonight, which means every third anthem that we heard was the Russian Federation. Third of the races going to the Russian. Ukraine, 10 gold medals, lying in 2nd position. Another good night for the USA, 8 medals for them. The top 3 stretching away. And Great Britain on the gold medal table in 12th position with that 1 gold for the host nation from Ollie Hines. Well, that is the end of the finals for day number 3. It has been another good night. Great performances, great records we've seen here at Tollcross. Thanks very much to Giles Long for your company. We will be back here tomorrow at 10 AM local time. Have a good night. See you then.